That's right. The gaming season is kicked off. And generally, I only say that when we get to about November, but here we are in February, and it's just an unbelievable month. It's so great to see the timeline on Twitter and in the gaming community being full of just gaming clips, excitement, Metacritic predictions, so many awesome things. Guys, I want to say before we get started, please do hit the like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm overwhelmed. I know a lot of people have numbers that are way bigger, but I've been getting plus 76, plus 86 for the month on the channel, and it's growing, and it's because of the content we're adding. It's because of the content that we've started on Twitch just this past week. I want to thank everyone that's been coming out there, twitch.tv, Mooch TV. It's really, really been a lot of fun. We're doing a whole thing this entire week leading up to Horizon. We're going to be doing Dying Light 2. Very excited to get into that game. Been playing it on PC, but going to start it over again on PS5. Very thankful to the great Ed Sheehan on Twitter. He hooked Mooch up with a PS5 version so I could actually stream it. So shout out to Ed. Appreciate that if he's listening to the show later. Guys, so many people help the channel out, and I want to say thanks to all the Mooch Maniacs. You guys can see right above the description, there's a join button. If you guys would ever want to join the channel, I truly appreciate it. It really helps things progress and get better. And I hope you don't mind. I let you guys enjoy that intro there, the starting screen. Shout out to the great @JMatrix76, helped create that. The man behind the curtain. So shout out to the great J Matrix. I hope he's feeling better as well. He's a little under the weather. Let me just shout out each and every one of these guys that makes the channel grow and makes it so awesome. And the great Zambila Ice Cream is back home. Zambila, you still got your room upstairs, buddy, okay? The beers are cold in the fridge. The room is yours. You got it. Welcome home. Great to have Zambila Ice Cream home with us again. But let me shout out these great individuals. The great Sir X-Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Frostbite Slash, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, TrueWiddy, Kn1ght Ripper7, Big Chuck 777, Alphonso Carter, BRAP, Jamie, Lady Foxfire. Shout out to Lady Foxfire. She was going to be on the show tonight, but we're going to get her on another week. Dad of War, Damion, Shadow Assassin, CJ UK, who's new to the channel, Jimmy Harrison, who's new to the channel. Appreciate that. Another new Mooch Maniac, major Mooch Maniac. Who Are You 5? Great name, love it. SlaynChilean, your boy Roy, Smokes 901, Tactical Gamer, Supreme Samurai, Gaming with Persona, who I hope takes a minute from Sifu to come and enjoy Crossfire, Danelle Brown, That Guy Smitty, 4-Star Adrenal, Sean Slomka, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, Brian B., VIP Mooch Maniacs, the great Marty Bison, Rated D Demonic, Fork Boy Gaming, Strictly! Shout out to Strictly Gaming, the Wise Old Gamer, Remarkable Knights, the great Percolator 9000, and our honorable mentions, the great Wendigo Rex, Bryant Carter, Replicant, where are you? You're out there without food, water, or toilet. We're nervous. Shout out to Punk Kiddish and MexJ88 and Forever Mooch Maniac, Longshot 316. Guys, take a second to go ahead. Please hit that like button. Share it out. Let people know that we are live here in New York. Crossfire Friday nights. We kick off the gaming weekend. And honestly, I would not be able to kick this gaming weekend off without this man right here. He is here every Friday. And, you know, he may not be the Incredible Hulk, but my friends, I tell you, he's as green as he's ever been. The great Crap Gamer is back with us tonight. Crap, how you doing?
Get in. I'm an Xbox fan, so I'm green.
You like that one, Crap? I wrote it a couple minutes ago. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, go back home, Crap.
Yeah, oh, you can't, but you can sure as hell try. You know,
right,
listen,
Crap.
it's always a lot of fun to do these shows, and there's some good stuff to talk about. So, you know, I'm excited to get into it.
Yes.
It's always fun to do these type of podcasts with people that have blocked you on Twitter. So, you know.
Yes. Maybe that'll change.
Oh, well, maybe, but I kind of doubt it anyway, you know.
Crap,
but it's all right.
You've got a
It's all
heart
right.
15 times bigger than people know. That's the beauty.
I do. But it's all good. Anyway, you know, make sure you guys hit the like button, share it out. Mooch, you didn't do a video this week, or maybe
I didn't. I did
Yeah.
Twitch this week, so I will have a video next week. But no,
well, you're only one man. You can only do so damn much.
I appreciate that, Crap. This is so true. I need a team. I need a team.
So.
No, Crap.
But yeah, I'm excited to get in here and hear what's going on and all that kind of great stuff, man. Like I said, it's been a hot start to the year.
It has.
So, you know, people should be hold on to your butts. You know?
I certainly hope so, Crap. I really, really do. I think this is going to be a great year. Starting 2022 off with a bang. Shout out to the great Yasin. Yasin, I think I'm saying it right. Says, what's up, Mooch? Love from the Netherlands. The super chat's working, folks. It's a miracle. Yes, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. Just so you guys know, the great Xbot 448 is working. He may be joining us after the 8 o'clock hour here in New York, so we'll keep you posted on that. But you know who we have? The IPA guru himself, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, BRAP. BRAP. How the hell are you doing tonight, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Happy to be back here.
Great.
It's Friday. You know, it's Valentine's Day on Monday.
It is.
But it's also, next week, is also the release of Horizon Forbidden West.
Is that so that's the Valentine's gift to yourself, I'm assuming, bro.
That is, yes. That is the Valentine's Day gift to myself. Absolutely.
You deserve it. You deserve every single minute of that.
I'm going to make love to myself that day.
Well, that's not anything unusual, is it? I mean,
no, probably not.
Didn't you buy your hand like a mask or something for Valentine's Day? I mean, some,
I love it.
lipstick.
I love it.
Wow.
That's great.
You know, Bomber, thank God for lube.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Bomber. Well, no
Not
introduction
to be
needed, I
confused
guess.
with Crazy Glue. I've seen a movie
Yeah,
like
right.
that once.
Yeah, what movie was that?
It was American Pie 2.
American
Yes.
Pie, yeah.
Yeah.
Use
it was
Vaseline
American Pie,
next
yeah.
time, Brad. That way you can come at least 3 times trying to get off the Vaseline.
Oh, my God.
Well, he needs no further introduction. The
He's
great
40
HR.
plus, man. He's lucky to get off one time. What are you talking
Oh, come on.
No, the trick is you gotta wait 7 days.
about?
Are you masturbating? Or are you watching that chick on the Ring movie?
Both.
Okay.
We've gone south, folks.
We've made a left turn here, crap.
Yes.
I'm trying to get back to Albuquerque. Here we go. The
Well,
great
you got
HR
you got 2
Bomber.
people on here from Gaming Beyond the Box.
I
What did you
know.
expect?
I know it's going to go left at some point, which I love, by the way. HR Bomber, listen, with no further ado, you don't need any kind of introduction from Gaming Beyond the Box. What's up, buddy? It's great to have you back on here. I know your schedule is unbelievably wild, but you made time for us tonight, buddy. How are you doing this evening?
Man, doing pretty good. Literally just finally, after forever, got Horizon Zero Dawn plus the DLC finished up today after 68 hours of playtime. So,
You know, it's funny because I
I'm
saw
not
you.
platinum, not shit either,
I saw
just
you
so y'all-
posting that, and I knew that I was never going to have the 60 hours to do that. So I'm going into Horizon Forbidden West without finishing Zero Dawn, and
What?
yeah, that's a me problem. I don't know what to do. What am I going to do? I was just saying it before the show. I can't put more sand into the hourglass.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I know.
The crazy part is the Frozen Wilds was freaking amazing.
Well,
When I first
that's the
played it.
DLC. I mean, I'm still like not even halfway through the original, so there's no way I would get to all that in the next week. Not unless I take the entire week off from work. But I mean, that is tempting. I'm not going to lie to you.
have to do.
That is tempting. Well, he doesn't need any formal introduction himself. Also, with the CEO of Gaming Beyond the Box, the great Wilmy Hood returns to Crossfire. It's always great to have Wilmy. Wilmy, welcome back to the show, buddy. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing fine, man. After I've finally got finished working, like 2 minutes before
2
we
minutes.
went live.
Yes.
I'm doing good. I've got 60 hours into Dying Light 2, and I'm not ashamed.
I'm jealous.
My entire backlog, I don't even know what that is anymore because Dying Light 2 is taking over everything at this moment.
Well, that's the thing, though, Wilmy, and that may happen as we kind of go through the next, couple of months. That backlog of yours is just going to expand and expand and expand. And, just before, and I'm going to start with Wilmy. Wilmy, I'm going to start with some gaming before we get into the news. But let me just say real quick, shout out to Rated D Demonic. So great, 20 months. Rated D Demonic's been a VIP Mooch Maniac with us for 20 months. Do you understand that? He literally lives in the house. Rated D, get the wines ready. He says, huge love to Mooch and the panel. Love the podcast last couple of years with great content and such diverse bunch of characters. Proud to be part of this family. Love you guys. Rated D, thank you so much, guys. And like I said, it really means the world to me. And it means so much to actually shout you guys out and let everybody know that you are a part of this channel. It means so much to make this channel grow. So thank you, Rated D. I appreciate that. Wilmy, I'm going to go to you first, and we're going to talk a little bit about games because a lot of people in the chat last week were saying, Mooch, I thought we were going to talk a little bit about Dying Light. And the reason I didn't really get to Dying Light was we had such an explosive, outstanding conversation going the entire 2 hours. But secondly, the game came out on the day of Crossfire last week. So it was like even when people did play it, they didn't play much of it at that point. So now it's a week digested. People have had time to play it. You've had 60 hours into the game.
Yeah,
So
I have.
let me start with you, Wilmy. And you know what? You're always a good judge of character with this. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly for people that are still on the fence about this great game?
I've not, luckily 60 hours in, I've not had any glitches and none of the technical problems that some people have had, sadly. I don't see a downside in this game. It's just there's just so much shit to do.
I agree.
I mean,
I'm enjoying it.
It's hard. It's hard to stick to one thing. And Ubisoft almost ruined open world games for me because all their games are basically kind of the same, even though I still buy them and play them. But this one is just Techland did something entirely different with this one. I mean, it's just there's so much shit to go do, and it's almost like adult gamer ADD.
Well,
You're looking at something and you're like, "Oh God, squirrel!" and you run into another direction.
So that definitely is the case. But I want to ask a question that nobody's been really talking about, because whenever you say Dead Island, everyone kind of cringes a bit because we've been waiting for Dead Island 2 for almost a decade. So the one thing I will say is clearly you could see that like the Techland and these folks with Dying Light, they took the aspects of Dead Island because they were a co-creator and they ran with it in one direction. But do you feel that some parts of Dead Island are kind of missing from the game of Dying Light? Do you think that this is, or do you think that they've separated themselves enough now where it's clear that you can draw a line between the two?
I think you can draw a line between the two, in my opinion.
I just loved, I kind of, maybe because of the island atmosphere and being out there and the exploration, I just feel like with Dying Light, I don't know. Maybe I'm not far enough yet. How far does the map expand out past the city? How far?
The map's huge.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to hear.
I've only made it to the second part of the map.
Okay. I'm probably I'm only about 10 hours in. So, and you'll see this is earlier play here, but I just wanted to get the feel. Now, but is Bomber also involved with the Dying Light game?
No, he is not.
Oh, all right. I thought Bomber also got into it.
No, it's mainly because I'm not a big zombie person, so it takes. I don't know if I'll ever jump into it as much as it looks pretty cool, but I find zombie stuff just boring. That's why, like, even Days Gone, it's
that's
tough
blasphemy.
For me to get back into it. I like Last of Us. Like, I wish the Infected didn't even exist because then I'd feel like it's a better game. So it's like stuff like that. I'm weird. Yes, I am weird. It's not like I'm scared of them. It's just I just find them very boring. They don't. I don't know. That's just me. Now I think all the stuff about Dying Light, like all the weapons and stuff that I've seen people use and stuff, pretty freaking cool. And the parkour looks pretty awesome too.
It really does.
It is.
I mean, Wilmy, what would you say? There has to be something there's got to be one thing that's kind of upsetting you about the game. What is one thing that you would say is maybe ruffled your feathers a bit?
That I don't have enough time to play it more.
That's actually
a
great gripe.
To be honest, dude, because I gave up the game to come here, and I'm jonesing.
This is true.
But,
well, okay, so let me go one step further then, Wilmy, because there's something that's got me kind of pissed off, and I want to ask you: are you playing this game with friends? Or are you mainly playing it alone?
Right now I'm just doing single player.
So, BRAP, I'm going to bring you in on this because I wanted to hear what Wilmy said first. BRAP, we found out, and I'm hoping Wilmy or the audience is going to tell me what we heard was incorrect, but I was told, and BRAP was told, that when you go through, let's say everybody was playing on my game, okay? We had BRAP, we had Crap, we had Wilmy, and we're playing through. When they go to boot up their game later on, it doesn't progress them through the story. Is that true?
That's what I've heard, yeah.
See, that's a big problem.
There's a lot of other games that way too, though, sadly.
Yeah, most any co-op game, not that way. Like if you
there's a lot of
jump
them.
into somebody else's game, you're not going to have the same progress. You go back to yours, it's like instance.
Well, you keep everything. You do keep everything. So everything you loot, everything you create, your weapons, your experience, you keep all of that. But the story missions you have to do on your own again. So, what I think is I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill here, because I think if you said you were going to go ahead and play, and actually this is something that me and BRAP are talking about. See, me, BRAP, shout out to Delirium Blades, and Mel, we played, and we found this information out because we played on my game. Then Blades went back the next day, said, wait a minute, I can't actually progress the story from where we left off. I said, well, what it comes down to is just about, you have to organize, you have to schedule. So you pick one person to be the default game, right? And then you can progress in your game all you want. You can keep going. You don't have to wait. But then that one person's game is the one that you have to default as the group activity. I don't think that's a big deal, but I know a lot of people might have issue with that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of used to it.
BRAP, it
There's
bothered
been a
you.
lot of
I
games
think it
that way.
bothered BRAP a bit. I had to like, I
Well, I
literally
mean,
had to,
everything bothers me.
Yeah.
that's true. BRAP, I had to talk you
A
into
lot
it.
of things do bother me. I mean, like, you know,
Yeah.
I have very low threshold for pain. You know, no,
Okay.
no. I mean, it's you know, it's annoying, but like Wilmy said, it does happen in other games. It doesn't happen in Destiny. But yeah, it certainly happens. It would be a nice quality of life type feature, you know. You know, it'd be great if developers could kind of incorporate something like that, especially for this kind of game where they know that you know, a lot of people are going to be getting together and party chats and not party chats, but like parties and playing these and playing the story. And that's, for me, it's not a major complaint. It's just more of a quality of life type thing. But overall, for me, like I love the game anyway. Like this is a great game. Like Wilmy said something that kind of like I didn't even think about that when he said it resonated with me. Like the fact that like the Ubisoft games were so big, and I felt like I was basically like going from point A to point B, and it felt like I was like you know, doing chores. I don't feel like I'm doing a chore in this game. Everything that I do, whether it's a side mission or something that's more something more focused with the main story, it all feels like it's meaningful. It means something, right? And I know it's like it's something as simplistic as turning on a windmill. That actually has implications.
Some of those are not easy either.
No, they're not. You have to parkour, do all these things,
and some of you have to have different equipment that you get on later in the story to get to. Yeah. But they actually it's rewarding in the sense, and it sounds very simplistic at first, but let me tell you, when you're running from a horde of zombies, and that windmill's right there, like, oh, thank God I turned this on. I'm good. I'm saved. You know?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do think that that's the case. Shout out to the great Jeff Grubbs Game Mess. He says the drinking for BRAP also makes him agitated. So he's thinking that, right?
And I'm also a little concerned about Jeff Grubb trying to buy a gun to fend me off somehow. Jeff, I come in peace. Jeff.
He's in Colorado. Leave Jeff alone. No, it's not easy out there.
I bring Blippy DVDs, Jeff. Come on, I come in peace.
It's hysterical. No, I just thought that I wanted to bring up the whole Dead Island thing because I'm still jonesing for Dead Island 2, and I'm wondering how after Dying Light has become such a success, especially you can see Dying Light 2's numbers are outstanding. I really think that Dead Island 2 faces more problems than just the development hell they're kind of in right now. They've got to kind of step away because this game ultimately took Dead Island and went to the next level. I kind of like the environment. I like the setting. I thought Riptide, which was the successor, if you will, to Dead Island, was good, but it was a copy and paste. Kind of like how I'm a very big BioShock fan. I am. I'm a huge.
I like Call of Duty.
But BioShock 2 was a copy and paste. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Wilmy.
It's kind of like Call of Duty. Everything is copied and pasted, just like you said.
Yeah, it just feels like it was just like there's not a lot of thought that went into it. And I think the Dying Light folks tried to take it to the next level, and they accomplished that. I wish I was even further into the game so I can kind of communicate a little bit more with Wilmy here and see where he's at. But no, I promised everybody in the chat last week that we would get into a little bit of Dying Light talk. I can tell you this much. I would recommend that you still pick this up. I'm still seeing a lot of people posting their footage on Twitter, on Xbox and PlayStation 5, and the game looks, even though it's 1080p 60, it does look decent still. Wilmy, would you say the visuals are still impressive?
Oh yeah, but I'm playing on an 85-inch television.
Well, but does that make it look better or worse?
My television does. It makes it look great.
But does it now when it says 1080p native at that point, is it upscaling it to 4K?
It is.
Okay. It looks good. I'm looking at videos. This here you're seeing right now, this footage is caught on PC. This is currently at 1440p, playing at roughly almost 90 frames. And it's been good. Like I said, I wanted to be able to stream it, so I wanted to get it on either Xbox or PlayStation. But I don't think I'm going to really be missing much by playing it on console. I don't think it's going to take away from the experience from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. So that's the case when it comes to that. Shout out to Gemini J. Says, Dying Light is broken. If you drop an item and two people pick up the item at the exact same time, it'll duplicate. And you can duplicate stacks too. Gemini J, I did not know that. I know that there's another patch 1.04 was released recently, I believe. And
There's one came out today.
Yep, it came out today for console. So Gemini J, I don't know if you've gone back to play today since that launched. The PC got 1.04 over the weekend, and console got it today. Or pardon me, not over the weekend, but earlier in the week. So I don't know if you're still experiencing those issues. I hope you're not. But nonetheless, let me get into something else here, too. I want to get into Crossfire X. I know a lot of people are enjoying the fact that this is Crossfire, and we're talking about Crossfire X. Did anybody...
You've got X on your screen.
The better version of Crossfire, by the way, Mooch.
What is it?
This is the best version of Crossfire.
I completely agree, by the way. I'm biased, but nonetheless. Did anybody on the panel happen to play Crossfire X? Anybody download it and just kind of give it a...
God,
no?
absolutely.
Nobody.
Absolutely not. For me, it was just when which I know Remedy made the campaigns, whatever. But the multiplayer, when they had the little beta, I was like, absolutely not, trash.
Oh yeah, dude. We tried it during the beta for the multiplayer.
Yeah.
This shit was pure garbage, man. I mean
and then it hasn't changed. So
it's like a CS:GO no.
yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean that's basically what it is.
So when you tried it, but see, the thing is a lot of people were touting this to be the next thing, like it was going to be a decent pickup. So is it not? Is it the case of like, I don't think that this game, I think this game's getting a lot more slack because of the Game Pass issue, because everybody was like using it in their list wars. And I'm not, by no means am I saying that this is anything to do with Game Pass. It really, really doesn't. But
no, it has
but the one thing that I wanted to say was there were issues with certain things with Dying Light, right? There's definitely been issues with games in the past. Crossfire X, I was told that it was broken. It was almost not playable. That I don't know. I was told that. If that's the case, what has happened with quality control in games? And is that something that you fear?
Name a game that's not been fucking broken.
Right. Therein lies the problem, Wilmy.
I said it here before. The only game I've bought the last couple of years that was not broken the day I bought it was Death Stranding.
Well, so Death Stranding was not broken, you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't...
Anything multiplayer is completely fucked up on release.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know...
Even if it is for single player, too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but when you have a situation like this, like where you have a game like Crossfire X, and it's been delayed, and what do we always say? A delayed game is better than a broken game, right? Or a game with issues. But the problem here is that these games have been delayed, and then they still release with issues.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you know, that's just
look at Battlefield.
Right.
Oh God, Battlefield.
Here's an interesting one. Hey, Crap, here's an interesting one. Second City Saint says, I'll super chat $200 if Crap Gamer says I'm a flip-flopper. Crap, I'll split it with you.
Sure, I'm a flip-flopper. I flip-flop all the time.
Crap, there you go.
Go. Is it Xbox this week or PlayStation? Or is it Nintendo? Or is it PC? Oh, it'll never be PC, so sorry.
Hey, by the way, Crap, people flip-flop all the time with consumer products.
You know what the funny thing is people are like that they get so attached. Like, listen, if you're so attached to only one platform that where you're okay with playing on that platform without any exclusives or AAA exclusives for 2 years, you're a better man than me. I have no allegiance. I will go where their games are and I play what they are. You know what I'm saying? If people, it's fine. They're not breathing objects. They're not family. They're not friends. Play where the games are, where you want to play. Like that's the only advice I can give you. I'm an Xbox fan. I've always been an Xbox fan. But if you can't speak up and see that what they were doing was just absolutely unacceptable as an Xbox fan, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't. I mean, listen, you're starting. It's funny because now I see people making arguments that I made years ago and act like it's a new development or that there's some kind of that they're bringing some kind of argument to the forefront. I talked about this. Listen, Microsoft is on the cusp of something with Xbox. They're closer to being where they're about to be than they are, further away. I mean, they're like within the next year or so, they're going to be into that point where they're releasing 4 to 5 big AAAs a year. Everything's going to be hunky dory. People, I think now would be a good time to relax and enjoy it. I mean, if you have a PlayStation 5, this year is going to be great for you. Towards the end of the year, it's going to be amazing for Xbox. Just soak it in and I would say just relax a little bit, like video games are supposed to be fun. That's the part that I had to kind of come to terms with, man. If you're just really seriously getting that upset over this stuff, then, maybe take a step back and kind of rethink why you play video games, because that's what I had to do. And I was like, man, I'm this pissed off over this, man. They're not trying to do this to, they don't know me. It's not a personal thing. This is just, how the kind of things turned out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you were a huge
Yeah.
if you were a huge PlayStation fan at the beginning of the PS4 generation, you probably felt a little slighted because they didn't really have much at the beginning. It just is what it is. Like, in fact, Sony has been known for notorious slow starts with their consoles, and it just kind of is what it is. This time was different. They really started. They changed that, and that's from people speaking up and them realizing that they had to do that. So, like, listen, Microsoft is paying attention. Sony's paying attention. That's the best kind of thing that I could say. If you want to consider that flip flop, whatever. I've always had both. I am an Xbox fan. Anybody that could have heard me heard that I was just kind of a hurt Xbox fan. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I play on both. Get over it or don't.
No, I think you said it well. Hold on, Brap. Let me just. I got Royal Boyle 78 says, "What's good, Crossfire, Mooch, the panel, and of course my tipsy guy Brap." He says, "Shout out to Wilmy. Here's to a great show, fellas." And then the great Second City Saint delivers on the promise, and he says, "Here you go, and here's the 100 for splitting it with Crap." So Crap, he's giving you the $100. Wow, that's
rock and roll,
absolutely amazing. So I'm giving Crap $100. That's just Crap is the man behind the man behind the man. He lives up to his word. Crap's awesome, dude. You guys got to understand. Go ahead, Brap. I took the mic from you.
No, I was going to say the people that Crap are describing are the ones that go to their favorite restaurant that got condemned by the local health department to get diarrhea. So that's, you can't pay attention to those people.
Yeah, I mean,
why
listen,
is it always
it's
food
all
with you
good.
guys?
I don't know.
That's a great point.
I mean, it
Every
just makes
time I'm
sense,
on this
right?
panel,
So I understand that.
It makes sense, though, right, Crap?
yeah, I hear you, man. It does. Like, listen, I love Xbox. I like PlayStation's games. I think PlayStation has a better lineup this year. But I also, I'm very honest. Me and Mooch and J-Dubs go back all day in the chat.
What
it's
a
funny
debate
as hell.
that is. It is great, isn't it, Crap?
It is funny. I mean, it's not serious, but it's funny as hell.
You gotta put me in that DM, by the way.
We should get Crap in there, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to J-Dub. Shout out to Crap, actually, because you guys together, boy, that should be a show.
But it's like listen, like, just because if you're you could be the biggest Xbox fan in the world, but if you can't admit Crossfire X was a miss and you probably shouldn't have been in a list, then I don't know what to tell you, because I was telling people months ago, I'm like, there's something odd about this, because Smilegate, I've never seen really anything that they've done before, but I don't really trust. Like, if it was that great of a multiplayer game, I'm sure it would have been here before. And, Remedy, they're okay, but it's like, when you bring in a second studio to do a single player, and there's no achievements to the single player portions, by the way, right? And they're charging for one. It was really confusing how they were doing it. Like, I'm not going to download it at all, because, again, I was only interested in playing the Remedy portion. There's 0 achievements for that.
That's 0. That's the part that bothers me. Why would you put everything on just the multiplayer for that?
Because
I have no idea. It's
multiplayer is what makes them the money. That's why.
Good point, Bomber. Good point,
It's
Bomber.
shitty, though.
Yeah, that's a great point, Bomber. And
But it's like the whole list war stuff, right? Like, I always get, it's like, and like I said, I'm a very much an Xbox guy, but it's like when I see people list stuff like the Gunk and Scorn and the Medium, it's just like,
Which one did you like, Bomber?
Hey, I like the Gunk.
But it's like, I'm just saying, no, but people list that, people list that stuff to go up against God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West and stuff like that.
If anybody's putting
ridiculous.
up against it is pretty stupid. I mean, that's just stupidity. I mean, I can see people putting a list just because it's a game coming out for, I guess, their platform. But I mean, I am with you though. I'm tired of just people just trying to tout a list just to say their box is better. I'm like, just buy both then.
The list,
then you don't have to worry about
right.
The lists are ridiculous.
Bomber.
It was like, it's like, your stuff, and again, even like I saw people really, and to defend Xbox a little bit, they're like trying to tie Xbox to Crossfire. I get that it's a Game Pass game or whatever. That's not a first party game from Microsoft. They didn't build it.
No.
Like, I want to give Microsoft a little bit of credit here, because the games that they have actually put out, even though some of them have been in Multiplat lately, have been really well received. Right, they've been scoring well, so I can't really fault them for that. Even if there's stuff I'm not into. Look, I couldn't give a crap less about Flying Sim, but it was well received. Psychonauts 2, I wasn't a fan of, but it was well received. Like these games are Forza Horizon 5, well received. Halo Infinite, well received. They've been putting out quality, quote unquote, titles. And I think that they deserve a little bit of credit from that because previously they were putting out stuff like Recore, a 53, and Crackdown 3, a 59. So the stuff that their first party is putting out has definitely increased in quality, and that should be noted. And stuff like this, it's like I don't blame Sony for Godfall. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the same type of situation. You know what I mean? It's just like both these companies are going to have these kind of deals and third-party stuff that can fall. And, I don't blame Microsoft for this. And I don't go, oh, that's a Game Pass game for sure. I saw a lot of that. Like, oh, there's the quality. Listen, Halo's in there, Forza Horizon 5's in there. There's a lot of quality stuff in there, and they're about to drop Starfield in there later this year. So there is quality stuff, but there's going to be mixed bag stuff in there as well. That's just the nature of the beast.
Like Netflix.
Yes, exactly.
Everything's not a home run.
Yeah, everything. Sometimes you swing and you miss, and that's what to me it is. I'm not even going to go worry about downloading that game. It looks terrible.
Well, I want to ask a question to the panel. You've made you just sparked this idea. I mean, you've been talking about this behind the scenes as well. I guess I'll pose it to Wilmy and HR Bomber because, like I said, me and Crap have definitely gone back and forth on this. Here's my take on it, Wilmy. Tell me what you think. And forget the fact that, of course, you could. It's not a big deal. I'm well aware of everyone's fine. Like, I understand that $15 a month is not a problem, but hear me out. If there's times like in between the big blockbuster games that are coming out, like the Starfields, okay, and the Avoweds and thing like that, I was saying to Crap, I said, when my subscription runs out and I want to play a game like Starfield, right? Well, I've now had, and Crap will testify to this, I have now had Game Pass since the day it was inception. Since inception, I've had it. I've probably downloaded anywhere between, I'll even shoot high, 6 to 8 games off of Game Pass, and I think that's me adding a few to the stack. I don't even think I've gotten up to 8, but I'll say 8 games off of Game Pass. And I know it's a me problem, but hear me out. So when Starfield comes out, right now, I'll still have it for Starfield, but let's say I didn't. Let's say my subscription ran out in October. If November came, isn't it just better for me to just pay the $10, get Game Pass for a month, enjoy that single-player game, play the shit out of it, and then I'm done. Like, I'm not playing Peggle 3. I'm not playing these Crossfire X games. I'm not playing Ollie. We just said before we started getting into topics that we have a backlog of 1 million games that are all probably, a lot of the games Wilmy's talking about are AAA games. I know the ones I have in my backlog are AAA games that I'm hoping I ever get to. Okay.
And we don't even talk about my Steam backlog.
That's what I'm saying. We're not going to even talk about the 1,000 games you have on Steam. So my point is that for me personally, I don't necessarily see a need to have the subscription for the full year where I could just do it for a month at a time for these great single-player games that are going to be coming out. Does that hold any weight to anybody else, or it's just I'm out in left field?
To me, I'll keep it because I beta tested Game Pass when they were first offering it out.
Yep.
I'll keep it because my wife's a gamer, and there's games on there that she'll play that I won't. And on occasion, I do find games on there. I've probably played 30 or 40 games off Game Pass.
Now, when you say you played them, Wilmy, allow me to, I'm just dissecting here because these are important questions because everybody on Twitter is like, I just downloaded Ollie. It's fantastic. Meanwhile, what they did was they played 15 minutes of it and then deleted it off their console, never to return. When you say you've played 30 games, do you mean you've tried 30 games or do you mean you've completed 30 games?
Dude, when I had COVID last month,
yeah,
I played the shit out of some of them little games, dude, because I was so fucked up. That was all I could do.
Well, and that makes sense.
So
but
it kept me going.
X Abbott in the chat. X Abbott, I love. That's what's funny. Everybody always talks like top level. That's a top level comment. He says Mooch dislikes indies, but then raves about Kn1ght. That's not. Did you hear the indies I used as an example? Ollie. It's a stick figure on a skateboard. It's not the same as Kn1ght Bridge of Spirits. I don't think so. If you're putting those two in the same category, that's a you problem. I don't feel that's the same thing. But
I see what you're doing, Mooch, because there's no more.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, there's no like double A's like there used to be, right? So Kn1ght would have been like a double A
right
back in the day, whereas everything is classified as indie nowadays. And
right.
I get what you're like the 8-bit indies and crap like that. I hear you because I'm the same way. I was like, I love Kn1ght, but I don't like those little 8-bit indies. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't play any of that stuff either. If I wanted to play that, I'd break out the old Nintendo.
Right. You know, a bit of crap gets it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I wouldn't exactly put, like, and shout out to 9 Lives. He's like, Ali. I thought Ali was making Game Pass day one. I apologize. But you can use any small game like that has been made into Game Pass. There's a lot of them. And listen, I got news for you. If you're like just saying with Wilmy and his family, and they say, no, listen, I love it. I play the hell out of it. Well, more power to you. I'm saying myself personally, I'm not finding myself perusing the Game Pass list and finding anything that I truly want, except for the games like I like when Outriders was in there. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
MLB The Show. I like that.
I'll download the new MLB The Show. Like, I'm the same way, Mooch. Like, I've had Game Pass since the beginning, and I've downloaded like 10 games. But we're different. Like, I'm different than a lot of people in the aspect that we're pretty much educated on stuff that's coming out.
Right, that's a good point.
So it's like if I'm interested in something, I'm gonna be interested in it. I'm not gonna like scroll through it like and go, "Whoa, wonder what that's about." I pretty much know because we do these podcasts, we do these shows, we do content. So it's like I pretty much know kind of what stuff is about. Now, the only thing that I will say is there's been a couple times where I've thought, "Oh, well, that game has easy achievements." And it's on Game Pass. Let me boot that up and play it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, there's been a couple times I've done that, but the games that I've downloaded off Game Pass have been, MLB The Show, Outriders. I did Halo because it's Halo.
And it's funny you say that because Halo was one of the games. And crap, we spoke about this. I even said it on air. I was planning to originally buy Halo, and I think Bomber.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, Bomber, but were you the one on Twitter that was kind of pissed off when you found out that? When you bought the physical disc, it was
I think that was Eric Jackson too.
Was it
right?
Eric?
Like,
I thought it was Bomber.
Yeah, that was Eric.
No, because I knew I wouldn't buy Halo or I'm not buying.
Okay, then it was Eric. Maybe you just.
He bought the steel disc, the steel case one, and then there was no data on the disc. There's no data on the disc whatsoever.
That's a lot of the games.
He was like, what the hell did I? So he took back the game and kept the steel case. And, I guess, I mean, what can you do? But yeah, like now with Forza Horizon 5, that was something that I got. And then because I saw everybody playing it, right? And then I was like, well, let me go ahead and get the version that's going to allow me to play it early, but own it as well. And stuff because that's always I know the quality is there with that. It's always going to be good. And it is, it's really a well done game. But yeah, those are the type of games that I download off of Game Pass, but I definitely think that it's a great thing for certain people like that aren't like us that are podcast. You know what I mean? If you got kids or if you just whatever you want to try different things or it's very interesting the way that they've kind of gone about that. And then look, they're adding like even new stuff, third party. They did Back for Blood and they did what was that? Extraction, Ghost Recon Extraction. So they've got some good stuff on there, or some newer stuff on there, which I think kind of goes a long way with kind of their idea of what they're going to be pushing. I think they're going to do even more of that because they don't have the big games in the middle of the year, and I think they're going to have to, line up some bigger stuff. With Stalker that got kind of pushed back or whatever. So I think that's
the kind of stuff, crap, that entices me about Game Pass. That's the stuff I liked. Don't get me wrong. I like you see all these acquisitions, and we're going to kind of bleed right into the Activision deal that every week just keeps on giving us podcasters more and more news. But when you see things like the Bethesda deal and you see things like the Activision deal, you go, wow, those are big teams that they've acquired and lots of games. But listen, the games they still take 2-3 years to develop, right? So when you look at the team that made Deathloop, well, they just got done. They need another 2-3 years at least, and that's if they're making a game speedy. Now you have Ghostwire Tokyo. That team is now going to need another 2-3 years speedy. Maybe sometimes they need 4. Depends on the game and the complexity of it. So when you see those big acquisitions, especially from Bethesda, yes, you're going to be getting games from them big time. But those games are going to be like Starfield took how many years? 6 years? I don't know, something to develop. Like you're not gonna get Starfield and then be like, well, I can't. Well, good, that was a great game. When's your next one? Well,
I think Starfield's been in production a lot longer than that. Mooch.
I think so. I'm just playing the safe card, Wilmy, because if God forbid I ever said 10, they'd be like, Mooch, it's not a decade.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, dude,
so,
I really think that game has been
real quick.
Yeah, I think that game's been in production well over 10 years.
That's quite possible, but that's my point. So it takes a while for those games that are coming out from those companies to come out again after they release a game, right? So the other thing coming up is this Activision deal, and I'll kind of parlay into that as a welcome the great Slow-Mo Backslap. Slow-Mo, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you doing this evening, buddy?
Man, I'm hanging in there. Feeling a
Slow-Mo.
little under the weather, but I'm hanging in there. What's up, God?
Hey, Slow-Mo.
I can't even talk right now. What's up, y'all? What's up, man?
Hey, real quick, Slow-Mo. I got it.
You got what?
What we talked about earlier, man. Yesterday, I think. Was it yesterday or today? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
BRAP needs to get a medal for derailing a podcast like no other. Is there any way I can get a trophy to this, man?
No, you can't, man.
There's no way. There's no way to get BRAP a trophy for that one.
It's like a platinum trophy, man. It's hard to get.
That could have been a text. Dude.
That could have been a text message.
Exactly.
It could have been a text, but
Well, I'll start with Slow-Mo. I always like to have the new person on the block to actually answer the question. So we're just getting into it, Slow-Mo. The Xbox Activision deal starting to unfold here for everybody. Call of seemingly right now, and I know everybody keeps on taking, like, I don't know how much more Microsoft, this is where I'm going to defend Microsoft. They come out and they tell you, we are honoring Call of Duty and other big games that we're assuming would be like Overwatch, etc. Past the obligation, the contractual obligations in place. We want to see this game on Sony platform and Nintendo moving forward. And then there's people being like, now hold on a second. I got a minor in law, and I'm going to talk. It's like, listen, what I'm trying to say,
God,
right?
yeah.
It's like, they clearly pointed out what they're going to do here, and they're like, well, you never know once the contract's signed. Listen,
I had an argument where the dude was like, well, it could just mean Warzone too, and it's just I'm just like, no, listen,
That ship has sailed.
yeah,
It's over for that.
That's what I post.
said it.
They
That's why I
said
just post
Call of
memes all day
Duty,
on Twitter.
it didn't say
Call of
all,
Duty,
Slow-Mo. Didn't say
and they
all.
said, do they need to say all? They said other popular IP. If it wasn't going to
Didn't
be
say
all
all.
of them, they would have specified some.
yes, thank
So
you.
like that's how English works. Like you should. It is implied that I mean all. If I don't tell you
some people
only
don't know
some
English.
of them. I mean clearly. Like if I say I'm going on a ride with my kids. Like you're not going to assume I'm only going to go with 2 out of 3 of my kids. No, I told you I'm going somewhere with my kids. If I wasn't going with all of them, I would tell you I'm only going with Billy and Jane or whatever. Like I clearly that's not my kids' names, but whatever, right? So like just for the sake of the example, that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make sense that people are like trying to like find a W out of this
They're
because
looking for a word.
they went so hard for this, and now they got egg on their face. Look, I was one of the people that thought, hey, look, it's going to, once the contractual obligations are up, it's going to be like ZeniMax. That's what I thought.
Yes.
But this latest statement from the blog with Brad Smith, which if you read the whole thing, he's talking to the regulators. He starts the first paragraph about that, saying that addressing this to regulators, to the FTC. He's not going to do PR speak with the FTC, knowing that after the deal is completed years later, somebody can just say, you know what? I feel like making my bones off of Microsoft real quick. It don't even have to be the people that's in charge right now. It could be someone else that later on. Hold on. It could be someone else that gets into office, and they could decide to come up, bring this deal up, and then block it after the fact. That's what's going on with WhatsApp and Facebook right now. So it's just like, why would they do that? Clearly, they are up in Washington right now trying to make sure that the FCC, who's already said they're going to look into this, isn't going to block the deal because they clearly don't want to give Activision $3 billion for no reason just because the deal didn't get done.
That's right.
And they could also piss off investors too, because investors could go into maybe investing Microsoft in the pretense that, you know what, we're expecting this extra revenue from having this game on another platform, and you lied to us. Like that's not good. There's legal, like potentially legal ramifications for that. I think Hogue Law talked about that too. But
yes, he did.
Yeah, so it's what Slow-Mo mentioned, and then you don't want to.
Shout out to Hogue Law, by the way. That's the lawyer that when it comes to gaming, I listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really,
especially this kind of stuff with acquisitions. I mean, that's
it's
what he does for a living. So
absolutely.
I still
think.
What do you think, Wilma?
I still think that Xbox, Microsoft, whichever you want to call them, and Sony are going to acquire as much as they can to keep Tencent's hands out of the pot.
Oh, that's true. I agree with that too.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
what's
people
interesting?
saying that too. Yes.
You know what's interesting, Wilmy? There's somebody I talked to on Twitter who thinks that Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft are like trying to start a cartel, basically, to basically like more or less like what you just described, like keep those outsiders out to protect what we have, more or less, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but, because gaming is growing and they're all
Yeah.
making money. Look, forget all the fanboy stuff because all the fanboys look at it like, ooh, you're in third place, Xbox. You're losing. They make money. Okay, they're making money. They've been making money. They're all making money. What they don't want is Google and Amazon and Tencent encroaching on their money. So
Exactly.
this is why Microsoft goes so hard against Google when Google talks about that trash Stadia. Sorry, Mooch. But like when he
I love
talks
how
about
everybody says that about me.
Hey,
I
you-
just
wait,
tried.
you
I
better-
tried it for a couple
Mooch,
months. I got rid
Mooch,
of it.
no. It's not that you tried it. You were like, oh, it's going to be successful. It's going to be amazing.
Nope. You got to go
Yes,
back
you
and
did.
listen to. No, that's not what I said at all. See, that's the thing. Everyone likes
Mooch
to say.
had,
All
Mooch
I said
had
was
Stadia
Mooch,
sponsorship.
it has the
Mooch,
same.
you-
I said it has the same potential as
I got a
xCloud,
picture.
and I said that
I
it
got
plays.
a picture of Mooch and Phil Harrison together.
Yes.
Doing the thumbs up together, arms around each other. It was they look
Phil-
very happy.
Thanks for
Mooch,
that.
Mooch,
Yeah, by the
Mooch.
way, thanks to I'm going to thank Phil for that shouting off to Pop. Listen, my point being is this though. Real quick, I always said that if xCloud can survive, then Google Stadia hypothetically could survive. And what I did say that was great
That's
was
the
when
same
I
thing.
used xCloud and I used Stadia, and other people said the same thing. Stadia actually
Mooch.
performed better.
It does.
Yeah,
It
but-
does perform better. But
So
It does perform better.
That's
don't
all
have-
I
it doesn't
said.
have
That's all
content.
I said.
it doesn't have content though.
I
That's
got
the
rid of
problem.
Stadia but Wilmy, me and you both got Stadia when it came out, and Wilmy
We
got
did.
rid of it a month before I did. I go, Wilmy,
Yeah.
well, how are you enjoying it? He goes, Mooch. I even have the DM. He goes, Mooch, got rid of that. Got rid of it. The minute he said that, I was like, all I needed was someone to be like, all right, one of the early guys got rid of it too. I'm out. I'm like, because I took it on the road, and now I wasn't using the crap says all the time. I was not using it under ideal circumstances. It was really bad internet out where I was. And it was the worst. That Orcs game that came out on there, I tried to play that simple game, and it was stuttery, it was jaggy, it was awful. And so I was like, this is it. That's when I wrote Wilmy. I go, Wilmy, how are you doing with this? He's like, I just got rid of it. And I was like, canceled. That was it. I just wanted to try it on the road, and it didn't work. Now, under premium, like great example, like you see people right now, they're like, oh, I use xCloud all the time. Meanwhile, they're in their home, and their phone is right next to their router. Of course it's great.
Yeah.
Take that
Well,
thing into
see,
the
that's
woods.
But it's like the whole. The whole
I've
the
used
whole
it on
reason-
5G. The doctor's office works fine, man.
The whole reason
Yeah,
why
it-
Mooch got it was because he travels and stuff.
I
And,
do.
and he was like, I'm going to use it for that, because the bottom line is if he's home, he's got these machines that he can
Yeah,
game
why would I
on that
use
are going to be
Stadia?
much better. Why would he use Stadia?
Right,
You know, so
right.
and that was what I tried to say originally,
That's
which I
right.
don't remember him saying it was going to be a success.
No.
but I do remember. But I do remember.
Oh, Mooch seems to
um,
be successful.
No, that's it.
I don't
Brap
know.
was on
I
a
don't-
Brap was on a couple of IPAs.
No.
Listen,
No.
Listen,
No,
I
no,
don't.
no.
I don't recall him ever saying it was
Had
going to be
about
like
4 or 5
great
flat
or
tires.
do-
Huh?
do well. I remember me saying it would close down within a couple years, but
Hang on with Michael
um,
That's
Jordan,
true.
man.
That is true.
But I mean, that's just me, because listen, even in ideal conditions at home, I can't stream shit, man. I've tried to play xCloud before, and it looks like a pixelated flip book. It's just honestly bad. So I can't imagine, people like in a non-ideal conditions or whatever. If you got kids or they're trying to watch Netflix and everything's sucking up internet, or the internet's spotty a day, or I can't imagine that, to be honest with you. Much less like multiplayer gaming like that. But that's neither here nor there. But I thought it was very interesting that. I'm glad, I don't ever want that stuff to threaten console gaming.
No.
I know,
And
because
it's
I know that's
clearly
what,
not.
I know
either.
that's what they.
I don't think it's ever gonna threaten.
Well, but you can
local
tell that
hardware.
that's kind of what they want. Like I'm a big Xbox fan, and they're always saying the right thing. Like, yeah, we like this as an option for people to have, right? But they are getting people used to paying for a subscription of stuff you don't own. And they're talking about, billions of gamers and how they're going to reach them and stuff like that. That's how they want to reach those gamers is this way. And they even talk about how, one day there'll be more of those users than Xbox users, which I always doubt. I always said Game Pass. So goes Xbox sales, goes Game Pass, because that's what people are going to do. Like, I mean, the way that Microsoft is organically growing their active users is simply by expanding and getting King and Call of Duty Mobile, which has 350 million people signed up on it. Like that's going to like Activision has 450 million monthly active users, and they're going to add that to Microsoft when it's all said and done. So they're going to add the 100+ million that Microsoft has already, plus the 450 million. You got, $500 million right there. That's going to look good to investors. That's how they're going to do it. It's not going to be, here's a phone, somebody playing it on a phone in, some other country. Like, I feel like
it's not even really like the method. It's not really the method of gaming. It's the fact that Google and Amazon, even though they were doing strictly cloud, it's that they have the pockets to actually do what Microsoft is currently doing right now. And then that they would have gated everything. Like, for example, if Google had the presence of mind to spend their money the way Microsoft is and bought Ubisoft, then all of that would be on Stadia, and they would pull that stuff off of everything else. And so that's where more of like where Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft kind of come together, because that's like the enemy versus the enemy that you don't want to deal with.
The devil you know versus the devil you don't. So
right.
Slomo, to your point, Slomo, like they are more likely. Those two companies are more likely to gate stuff off because they have to build their platforms, where Microsoft doesn't have to necessarily do that. They have IPs in Halo, Gears, and other things, Rare. They have some other studios. They don't have to do that. These companies moving into this Amazon and Google, in order for them to compete in that space, they may have to do that. They may be more aggressive to lock content down because they may not have the time to, build studios. I mean, I know Amazon acquired a couple studios, and actually Amazon's still actually doing pretty well.
Amazon is doing it much smarter than Google did. Google,
yes, they are.
I don't know what the heck Google was thinking, but
I don't know what Google
even though Amazon, they've had to cancel some of the games they were working on, but they're now publishing like very popular games from overseas,
2 games
like Lost
Steam,
Ark.
Yeah.
Lost Ark is amazing.
And like the other one, there's another game. Yeah, there's another game they published too. So Amazon's someone to watch because I think they've been good about Google's been poo, but I think at the end game for Google is probably going to be, hey, we have the technology. If you want to, get into cloud, you have it. Yeah,
they're already shopping that. You know what I mean? It's like, their most populated game is Destiny 2 at 5,000 players. I mean, that's terrible. Pretty much kind of that pretty much tells you everything you need to know.
Horrible.
It's like honestly, it's just really bad. It is. That's pretty piss poor. Like I mean, I get it. It just they're shopping that technology, which again, like it's hard.
Peloton.
Yeah, it's hard to break in the way that they were trying to
Peloton?
do it.
Yeah,
Peloton.
Yeah, Peloton.
Peloton's beast. I'm not gonna lie.
It's hard to break in to the market like they tried without hardware, right? Who was going to trust that? Like nobody's going to trust, and everybody knows like
we're
what's
not there yet. Crap,
what's their what's Google known for? They're known for doing stuff and then giving up on it really quickly. And that's exactly what happened. They did something and then they gave up on it really quickly. And once they shut down their studios and fired everybody, you knew that was going to happen because if they wanted to make a play in gaming, they should have had the game draft. I would have bought the studios well before you even came out with that, and people would have been guessing, what are they up to? What are they up to? That way you have games because they launched a platform with no games.
Yeah,
and no studios, and then they tried to do that after the fact.
Yeah, which takes years.
To build a studio.
It was so trash of them to acquire a studio and then shut that studio down in less than a year.
Slomo, you're the guy to ask.
Can I get Phil Harrison's job, by the way?
Phil Harrison went back to England.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah,
I know.
After he almost ruined PlayStation with the PS3, almost ruined Xbox with the Xbox One, then he ruined Stadia. You know what I mean? Stadia.
He's a Grim Reaper executive.
He had a decent run with PlayStation 1 and 2, but PS3,
Well, I want to ask Slomo. You're my software guy, but I mean, in all honesty, the other thing that was a thorn in Google's side was also that it was Linux based. Is that correct?
I don't think that was that big of an issue. I think
thought devs were having a hard time porting that and making.
No,
that.
I think it was. I think it was.
I think you talking about. Yeah, their GDK is a bit troublesome. It's unlike anyone else's where you had to every game that went on Stadia had to go through a little bit more of a development process. I think from what I heard from a dev, it was like an additional 3 or 4 months. Which when you look at that with the games that were multiplat, because all they got was multiplat games, right? That came out for it. If you notice, when they came out with like Borderlands 3, The Division 2, anytime there were expansions for those games were late on Stadia compared to the other platforms. Yes. And it's due to the fact that like it was a little bit more time consuming to get those games running on Stadia, which like in the long term things, like you're already behind the 8 ball for a platform that doesn't have a huge install base. So there's less people on a multiplayer game for you to play with. You add that into the fact that like you're not getting expansions at the same time as everyone else, and it's like, why would I play here?
We live in the what have you done for me lately? And if you're not getting it day and date with everybody else, you're far behind. You're left behind.
Unless you're the Switch, where they can get Portal 1 and 2 12 years late. People are
so true.
Man, I'm getting Portal 2 on Switch 12 years later. Holy cow, man! The Force
Chrono Cross.
Holy crap!
Hey, but you know, that's gotta be
original Half-Life.
Right? You know, I will shout out to Ryan Landis. He asked a good question. A lot of people really look past this, and a lot of times with Google's woes, I understand. But he said, Mooch, how was the Google controller? I will say this much. They made a good controller. They did. It was a lot like the Nintendo, right? It was like the Nintendo Pro controller. I thought it was made very well. So if you're going to give them any credit, you know, I think that I thought that was a decent part. But unfortunately, the controller's a big part of success. But you can't be missing you can't be missing the other 2/3 of the process. So
games to use that controller with.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I have a couple super chats and I want to get back to this topic before we're not leaving this topic. Jimmy Harrison, the great Jimmy Harrison, he says, "Love the show. Let's get it." He said, "I swear when I turned my OLED on, I heard the sound system say, 'What are you doing?' when I fired up Crossfire X." So he got yelled at for even playing the game. Shout out to Jimmy. Magnum Visual says Microsoft can have a PlayStation Game Pass app ready to go and just say the games are in Game Pass and ready to be downloaded for PlayStation users. I'm just trying to read that back. And Microsoft's gonna have PlayStation Game Pass. I still to this day, and what do we say?
He's referencing the blog that talked about a new app that can be used on everything. Is that what he's talking about?
I believe that's what he's referring to. But I got news for you, Slomo. You never speak in absolutes on the internet, right? You can never say never. But I truly
you broke your ruler today,
I did break it earlier, and I'm actually going to do an asterisk right now to it. I really don't see Game Pass on PlayStation in any time in our near future. I just don't.
I agree with that.
You know, I know people say it's possible. Anything's possible.
Unless they stop selling hardware, Microsoft that is.
The only way it would be a little bit like a sliver of a chance is if Spartacus is a dramatic failure. Like it's a huge, humongous failure. And Sony's just like, well, damn. Like what we suck at doing this kind of stuff. Sure, let's bring Game Pass in. But I don't think, even if it doesn't live up to whatever expectations that they thought it was, if they're really converting everyone from who's on PS Plus and PS Now, which ain't that much, but PS Plus is huge, that's already a bigger install base than that's in Game Pass right now. So like I just really don't think that they feel like they're going to need a Game Pass when they can make their own.
So do you think,
something similar?
Going back to our original topic here, and shout out to Harry Johnson, great name, Harry Johnson. He says companies come
what's the name
go,
of the
but Sony still remains. I think the top three are there, Harry, and I think that those top three, Nintendo, Xbox, Sony, they're
not going anywhere.
They're in a really good position to just hang tight and stay around for a while. I don't see them going anywhere. Go ahead, Brap. Did you have a comment before I go back to a question?
No, the topic regarding Call of Duty we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
No, we talked about this earlier, Mooch. Like and people are being upset about, it not being exclusive per se, but this is about the long game of Microsoft, and kind of what you guys are talking about maybe Microsoft being a third party app, like kind of like Netflix is a third party app, but you still have to pay to access the content in there.
That's right.
In that third party app. So I do think that's kind of the direction that Microsoft's heading, and it's not about today. I mean, everyone's like, oh, Microsoft didn't get anything from this this deal. They're not getting. I mean, they're going to get exclusives.
Money.
Yeah, they're getting money exactly, and they got to. They have to they have to figure out how to pay for Game Pass, right? So any additional revenue they can get to do that, it's great. But I think it's the long game, like we were talking about earlier today, Mooch, is that, this is about, think about this, like COD, yeah, it's on PlayStation, but COD's really kind of exclusive to Game Pass, but also to Microsoft's cloud platform, right? Where you can play COD on the fly now on your phone, on a mobile device, right? And that's what they're looking at. Like Microsoft is, even though they're selling consoles because they have to, they're looking beyond consoles now. Like they're past that. Like, and I used to kind of make fun of Phil Spencer when he said Sony and Nintendo aren't really our competitors. And I'm like, hey, they really are because you guys are in gaming. But now I'm like, wait a minute. Like now I kind of see what he's talking about. Like it's really beyond the platform, tearing down that walled garden and putting things on multiple devices. And that's the end game for them. And a game like Call of Duty is going to potentially, hopefully, maybe help them achieve that, and that's why I say they're not done buying big publishers, because if they can get other big publishers and those games locked into a subscription service and to the cloud piece of it, that could potentially be a big boon for Microsoft.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now I'm going to throw out. Go ahead.
I was just saying they still got $60 billion in cash that they need to spend by June or July. So, granted, they don't have to spend it, I guess technically, but it's probably something.
You're buying Pornhub.
Well, this is something I was saying to Crap too about that $60 billion. First of all, you're right, Bomber. They don't necessarily have to spend it. The other thing is that right now, and Slow-Mo said it best.
They don't have to, but it's just sitting there losing value because of inflation.
I get
that's why they have to spend it.
Right, but hear me out. The one thing is right now you have the Activision Blizzard deal that is being being scrutinized, and it's right under the microscope of the FTC.
But there's no others. There's no other ones that are that big.
That's what I'm saying. You're not gonna see them. I thought, Crap, the three teams that you mentioned earlier when we were talking. What did you say? You said IO Interactive.
I said IO Interactive. I said Crystal Dynamics because it looks like they're on the outs with Square.
With Square, yeah.
And I think I mentioned Sobo, which were a company that did the Flight Simulator.
Flight Simulator, yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are three.
Sobo's next game is also launching in Game Pass as well. The second, the sequel to A Plague's Tale. So
right.
they have a great relationship with them.
That looks so good, by the way.
I do think, like, I know it's like it'd be difficult, but I think they could get away with buying a Japanese company. I'm just going to use an example like Sega, because they could get that through and say, we have zero impact in other, in Asian markets. If we get this, we'll be able to compete, right? I think they could that's why I think they could pass something like that. But I do see them picking up other studios. It's just hard saying if they're going to pick up, a big publisher again or something like. To be honest with you, I think Ubisoft is losing money. They're making themselves worth less and less with each passing day. Like, I don't know, they're just a mess, and their games seem like they're a mess. It's like what Beyond Good and Evil has been in pre-production for 7 years or whatever it is, and now they're turning DLC into a full game for Assassin's Creed, which to me they'd already kind of messed up with Assassin's Creed anyway. It's like there's so much, they're too much to do. I know people like the new ones too, and they're good, but there's just,
at least they're making it stealth though. They're making the standalone expansion from Valhalla stealth. So it seems like it's
such a slog to play those games though. Like I remember I jumped into Valhalla and I'm like, wow, this is great.
You see Ubi's pivoting though apparently with the new Assassin's Creed. It's gonna be like more stealth like and not
but it was originally a DLC for Valhalla, right?
Yeah,
I think it was but I think they've taken that. And,
they're doing the single player Splinter Cell.
Where's that boat game that they had? That was supposed to kill off Sea of Thieves 5 years ago.
Skull and Bones.
Yeah, but what was that called?
Skull and Bones.
That's still in development. Hell,
yeah.
That's never coming out. I'm convinced at this point.
I don't think that or Beyond Good.
Well, I think Ubisoft is a good guess on your part there, Crap, as far as someone that Microsoft could get. But what I was saying to Crap earlier was I don't believe you're going to see a huge splash.
Yeah, Sony.
I don't think you're going to see a huge splash from Microsoft because until this Activision deal goes through, they can't be like, well, we're trying to massage this and get it. Right. Oh, by the way, we're only going to buy another $60 billion company over there. That's just not going to fly. So it would have to be something smaller like the Asobo, like you say, Crap, or IO Interactive, or something to that degree. We're just throwing names out there.
Well, supposedly those teams are working on Xbox games anyway as a tryout. The other one, which was the one that made Rage 2, they're making Contraband.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Avalanche.
Avalanche. Supposedly they could be one to join the fold as well. So, we'll have to see. Like, Microsoft needs, for what they're doing, a lot of things. I think they're going to do some of both. Like, I mean, they bought Minecraft years ago, and people thought that they were going to be third party, and that was 2014, and here we are all these years later.
Right.
I think you can have both because you can use the income from stuff like that or Call of Duty and, still fund your other stuff. But I still think they realize that they need that exclusive content too. Like, people are like jonesing for that stuff, like.
Well, that's the thing. I think you're right there, Crap. But I want to just bring this up, and I shout out to Addict, shout out to Lord Addict, who's like, this is Mooch's world. I love asking these questions. I was saying to BRAP earlier, if and this is hypothetical, guys. So if everyone
Never speak it absolutes.
It's not absolutes. This is a hypothetical. Okay. I said, and all you Xbox guys out there, this is just a question. I'm just asking the question. If Starfield releases this November on time, and it doesn't move the needle for Game Pass, which I don't think it'll do a tremendous amount of moving for the needle, and everyone's like, how could you say that, Mooch? It's a new IP. People don't know what it is yet. I don't know if it's going to move if it doesn't move the needle as much, and you see that the Activision deal, the big games that are really that would have made a big difference and moved the needle tremendously for Game Pass are now going to stay multiplat. So that, again, that needle will move up, but it'll move up incrementally. It won't be such a big push. Do you think that Microsoft ends up changing course and lets Game Pass be a very great value option? So it's an option, but they keep the games that they're buying multiplat? Because
I don't see that happening because they're not going to pivot like that. Like, I feel like if they ever get to the point where Game Pass isn't the thing,
right? That's what I'm
done.
asking.
I think they're done. I think they're done.
But why would they be done when they're making hand over fist being the owner of a game on PlayStation?
They had already told their investors this is what their long-term plans were. If for them to shift gears in 2022, when they say their long-term plans,
2-3 years from now.
Okay, but I said that because you were talking about Starfield.
I said Starfield, but I mean games like Starfield, where right now they're exclusive to the Xbox Game Pass and Xbox platform. What I'm saying is, if the next 2 or 3 games don't move the needle enough, and they say, you know what, we're going to do what we did with Minecraft and Call of Duty, we're going to put them on PlayStation and Nintendo because we're making a lot more money and it gets our money back on this investment. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but I'm just asking the question, is that something that you think could happen? Could they pivot in 2 years and change it? Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't change anything for Game Pass. So if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you still get that game day and date. You'll probably still get perks for being an Xbox platform player on that game, like we were saying on Call of Duty, right? So Call of Duty, not only do you get that game day one in Game Pass, even though it's on PlayStation, but you'll probably get a couple of perks, a couple of skins that you would normally have to pay for if you're a Game Pass subscriber. There's still value there. So what I'm saying isn't all doom and gloom. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm asking the question, if it doesn't move the needle the way that they originally intended, you might go, well, no, Mooch, they can't, but they are. It's Minecraft is already on everything, and now pretty much the big games, the big names for Activision Blizzard are going to be multiplat. So they're already doing it. Well, that's the thing. So they're going to see.
Mojang wouldn't sell without it being multiplat, so that was like a contractual thing. And pretty much this is kind of being the same way looked at for Activision Blizzard, just due to the fact of how big, like, nobody's bought, a company like this,
right?
With this sheer volume. So I mean, I just think that's the reason why these particular ones. But like you said, I mean, if they buy, say, like the IO and all them, pretty sure they're not going to be multiplat. Why would they?
That's just like Sony. Sony bought Bungie, and their games are going to be multiplat. But if Sony buys Square, they're not. Final Fantasy ain't going to be multiplat. That's going to be exclusive to PlayStation.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, the next Guardians of the Galaxy would be exclusive.
Sony. Sony's a different animal. I'm not. That's a complete. I was specifically referring to Microsoft because if they're not moving in the direction that they envision the product going, they still have tremendous assets with these IP. That's why I don't think they're done. I legitimately think that they would make a fortune being that third-party owner of these big titles.
But I mean, that renders their console pointless. I mean, if everything's just
I don't see them doing that right now.
Couldn't people just buy a PlayStation?
Yeah, I don't. Which as long as
if that ended up happening, they would probably, like, some executives like in Microsoft Gaming will probably need to fall on their sword.
I don't.
So you guys don't think that's a viable option?
Not the current people there. I feel like this is the course they have to take. And
Okay.
they have to switch gears, it's going to be switching gears with different people in charge.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I was
Wilmy,
getting one thing
Wilmy,
now.
what are you thinking, Wilmy?
Everybody's talking back and forth about Game Pass, but you realize we're not all the ones that are buying it. There are millions of families that are buying their kids Series S's for $200 and some, and they're giving them a Game Pass subscription.
Yeah. But I do think that Game Pass is definitely, and you're never going to hear anybody say this because we'll never know. I do think that Game Pass is climbing up at a much slower rate than Xbox had originally wanted.
It's
I mean,
'cause they
maybe,
don't
but they
have
didn't have any.
content yet.
They didn't really have any first-party game AAA's for almost 2 years.
Yep. I mean,
So,
the
I mean, like,
content's what's going to sell that service.
Yeah, and I think you're at
unfortunately-
I think by the time Starfield launches, I think they're going to have probably pretty close to 30 million, and then I think it bumps up from there. Like they, like
Those
I know
are still
people
low
don't
numbers, though. No one likes to
But
hear
I mean,
that,
it's
but that's still a
not.
it is. It actually is.
It's not though. I mean, if you look
need to
at,
be
if you look
around
at,
100 million to
That's
start
very
making
slow.
money on this thing, and
but
that's
if you ever hear Phil
stretch.
Spencer and them talk, they always talk about 15, 20 years from like they're gathering. They're in that phase.
Phil Harrison was
for a
talking
while.
about 10 years into Stadia. So I mean, you know,
But that's
what they have
Stadia.
to. Well, no, that's
They-
what you have to. My point is, you have to give a presentation like that, crap. You can't be like a half an hour from now.
I get
you
it,
know,
but
I'm
when you
thinking-
buy a 70 billion, when you spend over like almost 100 billion in 2 years on content creators, you're going long haul for your. That's the biggest. Not only that, but
Yeah.
that's the biggest acquisition
Yeah.
Microsoft as a company has ever made, and it's for the gaming division. I mean, that speaks volumes for what they believe in and what they're doing. And I think, I mean, obviously,
Mhm.
I think you might underestimate like the Skyrim fans and stuff. Like that thing's
I
gonna be huge.
I may
And-
underestimating. I think you're overestimating a bit.
well, no,
because-
listen. Skyrim was played by 30 million people. Halo reached
Crap,
already
that was
20
also
million.
that was also multiple platforms. Too.
It
We have to
was,
take
but
that into
listen,
account.
but look at the barrier of entry is super low. Already, almost 20 million people have played a Forza Horizon. This newest Forza Horizon.
Crap,
You
but
don't
crap,
think it's possible
but
for
crap,
25, 30
but crap,
million to
but-
play
but
Starfield?
then you would be asking people who don't own an Xbox to go out and buy spend $500 on a game for
right.
one game, right? For a
Right.
console, like you spend
Well,
$500.
you can play it on
for-
PC. You can play it on, you can play
That's
it
assuming
anywhere, really.
assuming they have PC though, right? And that's assuming that game works well on your mobile device, right? Like through XCloud, right? So, I mean,
There's
it's
a lot
not,
of variables. There's a lot
there's
of
a lot of
variables
yeah,
there,
there is a lot of variables.
It's gonna be big. I mean, the PC crowd for I will say that
I think if it's big,
pretty
it's going to
huge.
probably. The one thing that I've noticed about with first party games on Xbox, they tend to do very well on PC. We're seeing that. We're seeing that with Sony, right? With
Right.
God of War selling 20 million.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn, and a lot of it is, you look at God of War cracked top 5 NPD because of PC, which PC is the best place to play video games, by the way.
Oh,
it's-
don't preach that shit.
So that's what the people complaining about
Right?
the
Is that what he said?
Halo
Well,
Every time
cheating
I'm
or
on a
Call of
podcast
Duty.
with BRAP, every time I'm on a podcast with BRAP, I don't care whose it is, he sits and talks about he's PCMR, right?
Yeah.
But then he trashes Game Pass and Xbox every fucking podcast.
no, I don't. I don't trust Game Pass. or
then-
Xbox.
And then, right, all you do is cap.
No,
And I
that's a
don't hear you capping for PC.
That's a misconception, sir.
No,
I just
sir,
bought-
I've known you a very long time.
No,
man.
it is. Wilmy, I just bought a new PC today.
What'd you buy?
So I just bought a new PC, 3070. And yeah.
I thought you bought a PC.
Yeah, new PC, yes. I bought a new PC.
I thought you bought a PC. You bought a 3070. That's not a PC.
Well, okay. I bought a PC with a 3070. And no, I don't. Look,
I think I probably know more of what's inside of Enrique's PC than Enrique does.
he probably does. But no, but wait.
With a
First of all,
3070, dude, that I used to work with.
First of all, I don't talk bad about Game Pass.
Every time I'm on this podcast, we got 20 topics, and each one turns to Game Pass for 2 hours.
Yeah, he generally does.
That's not because of me. That's not because of me.
Hey, that's the audience, and that's the. It's funny. People
I am
always say that-
sitting here jacking off because I'm bored to fucking death.
Oh,
We talk
okay.
about Game Pass.
No, you're
Free
jacking
time
off because
on this show.
you're jacking off because you're fucking
Here's
old.
the thing.
But
Here's
that's-
the thing. Listen, here's the problem with the Game Pass conversation is, everybody on Twitter talks about Game Pass every day. Every
No, they
podcast.
don't.
They do.
They talk about.
They do.
No, they talk about.
And then
they talk about.
I
Wait,
listen.
they talk about
to
Game Pass like
podcasts.
it's Jesus coming again.
That's true. And then I listen to a bunch of podcasts throughout the week, and Game Pass is mentioned on all of them. I bring it up, and they're like, "Why is he bringing it up? It's on every show. At least half the show comes back to Game Pass." And I dare after this show, Wilmy, we can
Mooch.
go on like 3 different ones. We'll
Mooch,
listen to them
it's
together,
funny.
and
Mooch.
we'll count how many times they say Game Pass. It's on
Mooch,
every
it's funny.
show.
People tell me, they're like, "Oh, you hate on Game Pass." I'm always saying it's a great value
always-
proposition.
No, it is
I don't
great
understand.
value.
Like,
it is great value.
you say one thing
can't
about
argue that.
a product, and people only focus on the negative thing you said.
Well,
but I'm
the
always
thing
saying
about it is
it's
this. Here's
it's
my
a
thing.
great value proposition. It's great.
Here's my point on Game Pass. Okay, if every show keeps saying it's great, can anyone else question it? Like nobody ever questions it.
No, you can't. You can't
question it. Like you can only say it's great. It's great. It's all you can say because there's no show. You got to talk about. There's both sides to every coin, right? It doesn't matter if we're talking about Sony.
Hey,
we're talking
Mooch,
about Spartacus. We're talking like Spartacus is not just great. It's
No,
not.
I gotta disagree with that. Like, you can't. It's not that like you can only say it's great. I see people on Twitter acting like Game Pass is a virus.
Not Twitter. I'm talking
Like
about.
it's
I'm
killing-
talking about on YouTube. Like there's just a. What I'm saying is this. I ask
No,
questions on
someone
both
like someone
sides.
Wilmy said
And-
that I say that I hate on Game Pass all the time, but I don't.
Well,
See, I just want to get you fuckers talking about something different. Can we go to another
ready?
topic?
Here's
now?
what we're doing. We're moving from Game Pass. Because, well, the thing is,
Jesus.
that conversation wasn't Game Pass. It was actually the Activision Xbox deal.
But it went into Game Pass.
Well, that's Xbox is Game Pass, Wilmy.
And see, I don't care. I'm subscribed to both. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I know, but it's the news. It's the news.
Even my Apple back here talking.
Wilmy's the old guy that says he's screaming at the clouds.
You know, I tune into the local news. I want to see the last minute show go on where they're like, Susie bought a dog for whatever. But the news is generally all the depressing shit. But that's
reason
what we gotta
why
listen to.
the reason why is
It's the
because
news.
listen, you can't talk about Xbox without talking about Game Pass, and it's true. Like we could sit there and go, Horizon Zero Dawn sold 20 million copies. That's what Sony needs to happen for their games, and that's great, right? Microsoft doesn't give a crap about their sales. It's all about subscribing to Game Pass and how many users and players
exactly.
they get,
Yeah.
and that's great for them. Like that's a huge difference. So if you're a
Hey,
PlayStation
crap.
fan, you're going, they sold 20 million. Don't
Yeah.
you wish Xbox could sell? They don't want to sell. They want people to subscribe and not own their
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
Like people don't get that. Both are
Hey, crap.
doing separate things that are both successful. What they each want.
That's
It's
the
not
right.
like
That is
Microsoft.
correct.
Yeah, it's not like
But crap,
Microsoft is
crap.
like, damn, I wish we could sell 20. No, they want you to
They don't
subscribe
want that.
for.
They want you
Hey,
to
crap.
subscribe to Game
Yeah.
Pass
Yeah.
and
crap.
not own it, basically.
Yeah.
That
crap,
Game
crap,
Pass
crap.
sub is worth
Yeah.
more than $70 for a game.
Yeah, but crap.
In
Wouldn't
the
you
long
agree
run,
that
absolutely.
crap? Wouldn't you agree that Game Pass is the platform and not the console anymore?
It's the
'Cause
it's
Slow-mo-
Game Pass is
Yeah,
is
because
definitely
Slow-mo said that and got fucking buried for that. Not buried, but people came after him. Remember that, Slow-mo?
yeah.
Oh yeah, can't forget it.
Well, I
'cause
mean, if you look at
some
it,
of the same
they're
people
always-
repeat it now, like it's like of course.
Well, if you look at what they do, whenever they do like a show, right? I like 99% of the games they show are going in Game Pass day one because
Yeah.
that's what they care. I mean, and then they
Yeah,
also
absolutely, yeah.
they also named PC Game Pass its own thing because I guess people, I don't know what I would assume
PC's the
numbers,
best place to play Game Pass, by the way.
Well, I would assume that the best numbers
no,
for
it's
Game
not.
Pass are on Xbox, and I've always said
Joking,
that.
Slow-mo, it's bad.
Like I always said, I was like, I wish they wouldn't downplay the console sales so much because people can take that literally, like they don't want to buy, they don't care if they sell consoles. Microsoft
They
do want to sell consoles though. They that's
I
where
would
most
think
of their
so.
Game Pass. That's where most
No,
of their
they do,
Game
they
Pass
do, yeah.
subscribers
I
are.
would think so. Shout
No, they do. They do care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait,
and that's
so-
why they're making a
let
console
me
store.
let me do this. I do have
Did you
a
guys
couple
know there's this thing called a Steam Deck coming out this month?
I was just gonna bring it up. Glinser says Steam Deck contender or pretender.
Pretender.
Contender.
I think it's a contender.
Contender.
It's a
It
big
is.
Yeah,
contender.
I think it's a contender.
It's a
You know what? It's a
pretender.
big-
If,
By the
if
way,
you
it's a-
tried to pre-order a Steam Deck right now, you wouldn't get it until 2023.
By the way,
Damn right.
That's
big
true.
middle
actually.
finger to Nintendo because you can emulate all the games on that console. But anyways,
Yeah, it's
Yep.
gonna sell less than 1 million.
So let me. So
It's already pre-ordered more.
Really crap. It's over a million by pre-order.
Everything.
Crap,
It's
I'll tell you,
gonna-
this
It's
is
over
crap.
a million
Listen,
pre-order.
I
You
can
gotta
tell
remember-
you right now why.
Crap, come on,
I
Brock.
can tell you.
Crap.
Listen,
It's over a million.
I can tell you. I can tell you right now why.
Pre-sales.
But it's not going to do anything. It's not going to be compete against the Switch or Nintendo. It's
Oh
just
no,
not.
it can't.
First-
Like like
No,
Valve's
no, no.
production
You
can't-
of
you
it
can't go
isn't
into a
anywhere
store-
near Nintendo's.
And not only that, but if you can't go into a store and be like, "Hey, can I get one of those?" Like, people don't care. For the most part, people don't care. There's only a certain amount of these ultra hardcore fan or gamers.
I think
that are
we're
gonna be able
past
to
the
do
store now. Crap.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
but it's like-
crap. But
we
you just said
are,
it
but
won't sell
if
over
you-
a million, but it's already
If you
over that.
can't-
Pre-orders.
well, I mean, what like I think it's going to go the same way as the Steam box, right? Like it's this big.
That was a little bit
bulky thing.
different.
crap. The reason I
This damn
think that you
thing's
have
the
to.
size of a. It's the size of a laptop.
Well, here's the question, crap. Will it run Game Pass? Go.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
we're back
will
to
it?
Game Pass.
Yes, it will. It'll run
I'm gonna
everything.
take a
It'll run
piss.
on your PC.
I did not bring up Game
For
Pass.
an hour and a half or whatever the battery life is.
It will run Game
Yeah, the
Pass.
battery
though.
life is what's-
But the thing about it is this. I think that crap. The only thing I know where you're coming from a hardware standpoint. I understand. I really do. But the difference in this case is you're talking about Steam, like a Steam like your Steam library. I have probably about 50 or 60 games on Steam. I'm gonna sound like Wilmy. I don't have a hold a candle to his number, and I got news for you. I haven't touched half of those games, if not 3/4. Now to be able to take that, and you don't have to play it handheld. You can hook it up with HDMI to any TV. It runs as a
Exactly.
PC.
But
And
don't
then
you got a really good PC?
yeah, but crap, I can take this anywhere. You just said on the road. On the road,
How
I
often
can.
are you like? I mean, I guess I don't.
Crap, I can
But
take
you
this
can
to my
play them. But you can
bedroom.
play them. You can play them
It's
like
natively.
my light
Wait,
in
stop,
my
stop, stop.
bed.
Brap,
Hey,
hold on a
Brap,
second, wait.
you know what I?
You can
Hey,
you
Brap,
can play
you know what
it
I have in my
natively, though,
bedroom?
crap.
A PS5 and an Xbox Series X in my bedroom, and a 70-inch
Yeah,
TV.
but that's
so-
different though.
Why?
It's just different, man.
It's a different
hold
market.
it?
Well, I think
You can hold it, play it
the
in your
people
bed.
that are going to use a Steam Deck, like they're not going to use it and compare it to their PCs that can
Right.
do so much more, or actual console. These are people who are going to use it the same way that Switch users use a Switch.
Right.
But unlike the Switch, the games will actually run
give you an
at
example,
stable,
Crap.
stable flame
Slow-mo.
rates.
But crap,
Slow-mo,
the
can
other
I-
thing is it's downloaded to the unit, so it's not streaming, first of all. So you don't have to worry about that. Number two, like a game like Hades. I have Hades on PC, Steam. Now to be able to play that on the go, like that's a shit ton of fun for me. I love that game. And that's just an example. But the one thing, crap, that bothers you a lot of times is the streaming aspect. This is all on
Hey,
the console. And that's a big deal too.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
will-
cool, but
I
it's
will-
also quite expensive. You know what
Right.
I mean?
I will say this though. The one thing that like Flim was saying something about the games and everything. The one advantage that Nintendo does have is their first party IP though. Like that's a big reason why people are picking up Nintendo Switches, right? And Steam doesn't have that. They have the convenience, so it's going to be interesting.
They
to see
have
how that goes.
Nintendo first party as well.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
slow-mo. I mean, not but not everyone.
Not
so,
legit, but yes, he's right.
But for those of us that know about that, right? We know, but for the
Which
casuals,
is
they don't
every
know.
single person that's going to buy a Steam Deck. You know it. You
No,
know that's
but-
why they're
but what I'm-
buying it.
But at some point, you're gonna plateau, right?
Oh wow.
So
That's
yeah.
true. I
But
didn't
the
even
main
think
thing
about
that I say
Yeah.
as an adult, right? Like, so I think, and everybody's different, I guess, but it's like, if I'm home, I want to play on my big screen and with my consoles. If I'm at work, I'm working, right? And I drive myself and I drive back. Like, there's never a place where I'm just like, because I own a Vita and I've owned a PSP and a 3DS and I don't use them, and I've never used them really.
Right.
Because there's never an opportunity that just presents itself. And like I said, if I'm home and there's not a game on there that I'm just going to be like, well, let me play on this little tiny screen.
Mhm.
And I just bought a new OLED and everything.
Oh,
like,
crap.
That's where
Crap.
I'm going to play.
Crap,
you
you're
are not the
100%
target
right.
demographic.
Oh crap! You got
for
the
this.
C.
Yeah,
You got
but
the
you know what, though?
C10.
No. I got mine. I picked up the CX or the CX.
Yes,
last
CX.
year, yeah.
CX. Oh, okay, I got you.
Well, the thing is, though,
Yeah.
but the other thing I want to take a point to say there is Slow-Mo kind of said it too. Crap, I would not, myself personally, I'm not looking forward to necessarily playing the Steam Deck in my house. I'm looking forward to playing it, like, take the summer, for example. You're outside, you're going to whatever, the kids are outside.
Like
you can
the
actually bring the
beach.
console outside with you. You can bring it to a friend's house. You can do stuff with it. Now, will you? Will I?
Yeah.
Don't know. I mean, shout out to Royal Boyle, who's like, Mooch, a lot of these, I'll take it on a picnic, I'll take it on the road, and then it just ends up collecting dust. By the way, not going to say he's wrong. Not going to say
I'm
he's
taking it
wrong.
to the strip club.
But there's a spot for it.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna use my Steam Deck for. Okay,
At the catalog.
when I go on vacation, I'll be using it to play the games that I'm playing on through Game Pass as well as just natively through Steam on my PC. Right, those games I can take those games with me when I go away for vacation. Outside of that, any actual Switch games that I actually want to play, definitely not the first party, because I think Nintendo first party is trash. I know I might be in the minority in that. I don't care. But other games like, say, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Astral Chain, things like that, I can play on this, and they will perform better. And so, and then I can actually connect that with a hub to my one of my monitors and enjoy it on a bigger screen without actually having to just use the actual controls that are on the Steam Deck connected to it. So yeah, like the thing is that everyone's different in how they enjoy games. And so like for the way Crap's saying, like, well, why would I use this if I have XYZ and I like to enjoy games this way? Like, that's fine, because like it seems like Crap's not really the target demographic anyway. There's going to be people who will enjoy.
I would never
games
sell it
in
to
different
Crap.
ways.
I know it's not for him. Now shout out to Jeff Grubb, and Jeff, I don't know if this is because you have I think you do, because I thought I saw a tweet out. I think Jeff actually.
Can we get Grubb on to talk about
I'd
this?
like to get Jeff on here. I don't know if he can jump in or not. He's busy sometimes on Friday nights. Jeff, you got an open invitation to the Discord. Jeff says it's nothing like Steam Machine. Valve is making this itself, and the hardware is fantastic. And not only Jeff, but I've heard this from a few people that have early units in their hands, and they're literally legitimately.
What's considered a success? I mean, 5 million, 10
that's
million?
a great question, Crap.
That's determined by Valve.
That's a
right?
great question.
Doesn't Valve determine what is as a success?
Valve kind of reminds me of, and I mentioned this to Mooch and the DM, a little bit of Google, in that if their products aren't super successful, they tend to pull the plug pretty quick.
Well, this is already sold. Slow-mo, did you say it sold 1 million units already, or that's not true?
They don't have the exact numbers, but they're sold out. Like, if you try to pre-order it now, you're not getting one this year. I think I have the second wave of them. So
I'm
like
supposedly first wave, but I have not gotten my. Wilmy, did you get your email yet saying yours is coming? I got an email saying February, and that was the last I got. I don't know if Wilmy's back yet. He said, "Be right back."
It's they can't make enough of them to satisfy all pre-orders. I think that could be journalized as a success so far. Now, once it comes out, and let's say it has like hardware issues, and there's like it's performing poorly, it's poorly manufactured, then we could say, okay, they got some problems. They need to fix this. If not, now it's going to be a disaster / failure. But so far, I mean, I don't see how they could have things work out any better for them. They're not trying to market this or push it on people anymore. They're not like, hey, please try our product out, aka Stadia.
They don't need to
where
do
they were
that.
just giving people like 3 months free, just like here, you got Google Play services. Here it is for free. They're not giving it away.
I thought when Crap said Valve is in a certain predicament, I think they're more in that Microsoft predicament. Like, they're gonna make this hardware. They're already sold out. So they've already recouping their money in that retrospect, right? And now they're just like, hey, more people at our store buying our software off of our storefront, which they already have the largest PC storefront. So I think they're more in a Microsoft position, Crap, where it's like, this doesn't really hurt them, I
think it hurts them, but I just think, like, if it's not, like, I don't know what their projections are, but I mean, like, what would be considered a success would be my kind of question. It's kind of expensive. Now again, and pardon me for not doing my homework on this, because plus I bought it when it came out the day of. I got the big beefy one there with the whole thing. That was like, I think mine is like $600, but the entry level for this crap is $399, I believe. And if the entry,
$50 more than the
it's $50
Switch
more than the
OLED.
Switch.
It is, but the Switch games are they're optimized for Switch, right? Whereas like I don't.
Are they really crap?
I mean, they come with a little cartridge, right? You get a cartridge.
Optimized Switch game.
Pop in
Come
an
on,
SD card, right?
Craft's a comedian today.
You pop in an SD card and you're good to go, right? You have a.
No, I think
it comes with a game on a
Hey, Crap.
thing.
the one thing,
Right.
the one thing I'll say this, and I know this is totally anecdotal. The one thing that I've seen from people that have the Steam, what's it called? I forgot the name of it. The Steam handheld, but the one thing is like people. Yes, Steam Deck. Thank you, Slomo. People are like, this is what Nintendo should have. This is what they should be doing, and and I think I think this thing might be successful in that regard. I mean, again, they don't have Sony's first, I mean, not Sony, but Nintendo's first party, so there's that. But this could probably, maybe, because of the technology in it, it's got it's got a bigger screen. You can access your Steam content on the go, and the industry's kind of shifting where cloud gaming is kind of a big thing. They might be onto something here. I mean, like that's the allure to me. Like the fact that I can have my Steam library on the fly. Mooch talked about it, or plug and play on a TV.
Well, that's
I have access to all this content. Where Nintendo's very locked down, kind of like Apple.
Steam library real quick. Yeah, zero games.
Well,
So-
yeah, well, that
wouldn't be for you, though. That
But
wouldn't be for you,
That
though.
could change. But Crap, like you
Crap.
said, for example, you have your consoles. I don't have my consoles are in my office and family room, right? So I have a larger TV in my bedroom, but I don't game up there right now because I'm not going to put a console up there. But I'll get news for you. To bring a handheld, be playing a game, and then literally put it down by the TV in the room and put the HDMI in, and then take my Xbox controller and play it, that's wicked appealing to a certain extent, and I haven't been able to do that unless I bring a console up there. And I'm not going to bring a console up there for me. That's me. I know plenty of people that do the way they game the way you do, Crap. I like it just in the family room or the office area. That's good for me. Now I'm able to do that. That's like BRAP saying. That's something. I also want to say, Jeff says it's not fabricated. He said the stories that get the best traffic for us right now, pardon me, I think are anything to do with Steam Deck. So apparently everything that Jeff's getting at Venture Beat is definitely positive around the Steam Deck, and it's getting a lot of waves. He also said, who cares, when we were talking about the hardware, he said, who cares? He goes, better for us. The price for this hardware is unbelievable. It is half the price of any comparable handheld PC. And I saw a couple of comparisons on that. I got a couple super chats here. Shout out to Face23. Face, thank you. He says, Horizon Zero Dawn sells 20 million copies. Not bad for a new IP. I'm assuming Sony cares more about sales and Microsoft going for subscribers for Game Pass, and people keep forgetting PS Plus has around 50 million subscribers. Like I said, I think Crap really said it best when he said both of these companies are kind of, they're making a similar product, but they're going about distributing it differently. I think Sony's going to hold on to the traditional values, as you can see, for at least the foreseeable future, and they're also going to put their big toe into the pool with Spartacus, okay, where Microsoft is saying, you buy the game, you buy the game. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'll take that cut. But really, what I'd rather you do is give me $15 a month for the rest of your life. Yeah. So, it's just two different ways to approach it. And I think the question is,
you can buy the shows that Netflix puts out on DVD or Blu-ray,
right.
but most people, they would much rather have you just subscribe and forget about it for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Good example,
honestly, yeah, that's exactly what they want. Like, I just get the feeling that Microsoft doesn't really, even though they're like, you have the choice, I think that they just much rather people subscribe. So
shout out to Alphonso Carter.
I also wanted to say real quick that AMD's FSR Super Resolution will be supported on Steam Deck as well. So that's like, that will allow games to perform better, even though the hardware may not like natively be able to hit those measurements. But that's something that people can look forward to with their Steam Deck. They're not going to get on something like a Nintendo Switch. So
yeah,
just saying.
Nope, good point.
Throw your Switch in the garbage. Go get yourself a Steam Deck, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yes, basically. Yeah, do that.
Shout out to TEZ83. Says we all made PlayStation Nation. He says Sony had $20 billion before buying Bungie for 3.6. All gaming news outlets are reporting Sony has $10 billion left over. Where's the other 6.4 billion? I was talking about this. Thanks, TEZ. Thank you very much for that super chat. I do want to bring this up. I'll say this to Crap too. Even if we do use the figure of 10 billion remaining with Sony, I was trying to explain this to Crap, and I don't have any insider knowledge. Maybe Jeff will know more about this in the chat. But if they have a deal, let's say Capcom was 13 million or 14 million, they wanted to buy Capcom. They could always do 10 up front, right? And then they can do the 3, 4, whatever the remainder is in different variables that they can figure out within contracting. There's a lot of different ways they can do it.
Like that was for the entire Sony corporation, not just for PlayStation. And they had bought some other things. I thought they bought, what did they buy? That esports thing, and they bought all that stuff. All that stuff counts again. And what did they also bought?
So maybe that was some of it, but that wasn't
animation. That animation thing, what was it? I forget what it was.
A Crunchyroll.
Yeah, Crunchyroll or whatever it was. So,
but none of those equated to 6.4 billion, though.
What did they buy? I don't remember what it was, but they spent a bit.
But they did spend but then they did investing, right? They did $250 million with Epic. They did a couple of other things where they're shareholders now with big companies. They did that on purpose, so maybe to avoid a buyout, right, of sorts, they can actually have a vote in that. I don't know. I have no idea. It's all speculation at this point. Shout out to Sir X-Man. He said, can you do VR on the Steam Deck? Just curious. I would say no, but I literally have no idea. Slow-mo, anything on that?
Well, I'm sorry. I had a text. What happened? What's going on?
He was Sir X-Man was asking whether or not you could do VR off the Steam Deck.
Was it Michael Jordan?
I would probably say no, because I don't think
I agree.
I don't think the hardware is strong enough to support that. But I mean, I'm not 100% certain, but I would say probably not.
I agree.
Wilmy, you're back. Wilmy, I got a question for you. So, Wilmy, did you get an email or you have an update on your Steam Deck? Are you, as far as you know, are you a February delivery? Have you gotten anything recently?
Mine should be here on the 28th.
Did you get an email on confirmation of that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, see, that's funny. I have the last email I got was middle of January, and it just said you can expect yours end of February. I did not get a date yet.
Are you in the first phase?
I did. I got lucky.
I thought I was.
Okay.
Where does it say
I'm in
on
second
the email?
phase. I'm in second phase. So like I knew when they said they were pushing back the release of them that I knew that whenever I was going to get mine was pushed back as well. So I'm not expecting to be like get it when Wilmy does, but like I would say, Mooch, double check your email and see which phase you're in, or double check your confirmation pre-order email so that you
can do it through Steam too.
That's
yeah. You can look at Steam as well. Yeah.
I'll do that as we go on to the next. I'll definitely let you guys know. I'll even let the chat know. Shout out to Capone. Capone makes a good point here. What do you guys think about this? He says, Mooch, I don't want to see any more consolidation in gaming. He's had it. He's full. Is that how you guys feel too, or no?
I'm to the point. I just want games. I don't care where they come from.
Yeah, but Wilma, you know this, especially as a successful businessman that you are. Like when you do consider all the teams all kind of circling under one or two umbrellas, there's definitely things that we have history that show consolidation can lead to a lack of quality, titles or product being left behind. I mean, Microsoft bought Rare, and they didn't do anything with any of those Rare titles until Rare Replay. You know, I'm exaggerating, but not by much. So there's you grab all these companies. It's not like all these companies have all these IPs, and then you're going to see 75 games come out in 2 months. Like some of them just go to sleep.
I
guess
they get
put in a vault.
I guess it depends on the situation. Like old leadership for Xbox and Rare, they were kind of forced to do some stuff. But you know, ideally now it looks like Microsoft and Sony are allowing their companies to do like fully independent stuff, really, with minimal butting in and just a checkbook. And that's, I think, helpful. Like, look at Activision, for instance. They were just going to continue to make Call of Duty, put everybody on Call of Duty, pump them things out, right? Now we've got a chance to get other games back. I think that's going to be a good thing.
You're talking about Guitar Hero was one of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, Guitar Hero, you could do... I want to see more Crash. Crash Bandicoot 4 was awesome. I don't care that it didn't sell 40 million copies. It was a really, really good game. My kids liked Skylanders and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
That stuff has a chance. Like, they were the ones that did it really well. Like Skylanders, I thought. Then you had a bunch of copies come in and kind of ruin it. You know, the same thing happened with Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero was really good, and then you had all these other things come out, right? Like, and so it really kind of watered it down. So I think that, you know, all that stuff has the opportunity to come back and to do well again. And like I said, Activision has released good games in the past. They've released some really good Transformers games. They released a really good Deadpool game. They have the opportunity to do some good things. I just feel like, and I feel like them being bought out is going to allow them to do good things, and it's going to be a good place to work because you're not going to have to worry about being sexually harassed or any of that stuff, right? So, like that's all stuff you would have had to worry about previously.
So-
like nobody realizes that you have this company who has all this stuff where people don't want to work there anymore, right?
Right.
So it would have just got worse and worse and worse, and eventually maybe they would have closed out. Who knows what would happen in the future? But now you have that chance. Look, Bungie, even though they're making a lot of money, now that they're owned by Sony, they'll be able to rely on Sony's checkbook for funding and all that kind of stuff. They don't have to worry about closing down or, it's the same thing with like the Hellblade developer, Ninja Theory, right? They're like, you always have to worry about where your next meal is coming from, And so you can only do certain things. Now they can do what they want and not have to worry about that, right? Like stuff goes in.
So the Bungie example really that holds water. But like when you say something like, especially with the Skylander stuff, like those were a lot of the toys and the figurines that you had to use, which my kids loved it as well. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. But now that's been going for so long, it's like, is that something people are like, oh, now they got it. Microsoft's going to bring it all back. Again, don't get me wrong, that's fine. But that's like me and you standing next to a well crap. You throw a quarter in and make a wish. Like it's true. It could happen. But we don't know. And that's the one thing I think maybe, and Capone, if I'm speaking out of line for you, I don't mean to, but that's the only thing where I get concerned is when you see one or two companies grab everybody.
But some of that stuff doesn't take as long to make, right? Like an intricate RPG takes years to make like something like I'm sure to make like a platformer or something, it doesn't nearly take as long. So, they could probably, get something out relatively quickly. And listen, I know it's like, but you have to understand what's going on right now, especially with stuff like Tencent out there. You don't want them to get a hold of these properties, right?
Exactly.
Like that's the main thing.
Or Embracer Group.
Yeah, like people don't understand because you're not allowed to talk about it, but Tencent is an evilness. Like look into it. They are. Right? They're bad. It's bad news. You don't want them to get it. Like these companies getting bought by Microsoft or whoever, it's much better off. And it's going to continue to happen because they need content. All these companies need content, and the only way you can get that is by buying these like studios and stuff. But the good news is there's always going to be more studios that pop up. I think who was it, that Shinobi guy from Twitter?
Yep.
He listed a bunch of like new startup companies and there's always companies. Look, Sony has deals with some of these new companies, right? To make games, and that'll help them grow. So there's always going to be new companies that come out and they're going to be able to make new games and stuff like that. So even though you might go, oh, well, that really sucks that they got bought out, but there's always going to be these new ones that kind of step up and take the place. And I think that's the important part to realize, like I said, like Sony has deals with some of these, like Jade Raymond's group and the ex-Treyarch people, right? And then another group that is Call
of Duty and Activision,
ex-Bungie and Call of Duty, yeah. So there's always those types of groups out there because there's always going to be a need for content. So I think that it's not going to be as bad as people think. But when it comes to certain things, it's like, look, Activision and Bungie, them getting bought out and then having their big products be Multiplat and stay Multiplat is huge because the quality is going to go up for sure.
Yep.
And everybody's still going to get to experience that stuff, but there's still going to be exclusives down the line because that's just the way it's going to be. But they're going to use these as recurring revenue to, like, I don't know how it works, but I have to imagine that Microsoft during the lean years or Xbox, they were relying heavily on the revenue from Minecraft, right? Like people were like, oh, well, Xbox didn't really lose money here. They're gaining money. Well, Minecraft is played by, hundreds of millions of people.
And I would like to reemphasize again, I know everyone's saying before, they were like, Mooch, it's impossible. No way, but third party. They have it everywhere. That's what's making them that money. And I think when it comes down to it, I know everyone says you can't do it, but I think Microsoft can have their cake and eat it too. I don't know if they will. That's a them problem, not a me problem. Like
a lot of your tech companies
said,
do it.
Exactly, because I'm like Wilmy in that case. Whether they go third party and they have a Game Pass app and they also do consoles, I don't care as long as the games come out. I really don't. I have all the systems. I can play it wherever it is. But I do want to say this much. I want to go over to Sir X-Man. By the way, he did ask about the VR on Steam. The great Jeff Grubb comes back. He said he believes, and I want to just quote Jeff here, he thinks that you could do it, but he would not recommend it. is if I'm paraphrasing there right there. I apologize. I'm looking for where he just tweeted it or put it out there. Well, whatever. I can't find it
Gabe
now.
said he's playing his Steam Deck right now.
He goes, laying with a tired baby in bed, listening to y'all and playing Steam Deck. So I just did my homework.
I think he's watching Blippy, by the way.
He might be. You never know. But I do want to say shout out to Wilmy and shout out to Slow-Mo. They sent me the link. I am sad to announce I'm also quarter two. I'm with Slow-Mo. I'm quarter two 2022, so I guess I'm second wave.
That's me too.
The thing that bothered me about that is if you look at right above, I ordered it the day of, and the day it went live, I nailed that pre-order like 10 minutes after it went live. So I really thought I was.
Yeah, if you weren't in the, if you didn't get your pre-order in like the first 2 minutes, you're quarter.
Yeah.
God. Man, I thought I was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes in or something like that. I was like, damn. Because I figured, if it's an hour in, yeah, you're definitely second, third wave. But I figured within the first like half hour, you're good. Apparently not.
It was hard to get in there, man. Trust me.
So wait, so quarter two, what are we looking at, Slow-Mo? What is the, did they give a, or that's it? It's just
quarter two is like April.
April
to
April to
June.
April,
June.
May, June. Yeah,
I'll tell you right now.
And you have 72 hours. If you didn't pay for it in full, you got 72 hours to pay for it in full. So if you wanted to get it sooner, maybe you could hope some of these $5 pre-order guys just weren't financially responsible.
Oh, what did they do?
Have the money ready.
So Wilmy, they sent you another email following up saying you have to pay in full. Is that what did that come? Okay.
Yeah, I mean it tells you it's going to be taken out before it ships.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I ordered the $650 one.
That's the one I got. I was, because here's the thing. I wanted to have what is it? It has a better is it SSD?
It's got an anti-glare screen and it's got the most storage and
it's not better storage either. I thought it was SSD versus like basically old-fashioned hardware.
The $400 one is the one that has the SD card. The one I have is the middle one. That one's 256 gigs, but it's NVMe SSD. So both the highest one and the middle one
have
are
the same
NVMe SSDs.
Okay. So that's the one. I get the one Wilmy got to, and don't get me wrong. I will say this much. So you got to make lemonade when you get lemons, right? So I will say this much. I was not looking forward to having the Steam Deck in addition to my February gaming bills. February is already a very expensive month, I think, for a lot of people, right? And I did want to kind of turn it over to that and talk about, shout out to Harry Johnson, by the way, he says, I'm stocking up on SD cards for my Steam Deck. So I want to talk about Horizon, guys. Is everybody locked in on getting Horizon Forbidden West next week? Is that happening for everybody here?
Yeah,
or?
I got the the CE pre-ordered, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I got it too, yeah. It's not going to be Game of the Year contender.
Why not?
Why not?
What?
He's about to say something about Elden Ring.
Yeah, he's going to
Yes, sir. Elden Ring, baby.
Well, listen, Elden Ring is going to be phenomenal.
No,
as well.
it might be. No, it might be in the conversation for Game of the Year, but I think Elden Ring
might be. Look, if it gets a higher Metacritic score
than 89, I think,
than Zero Dawn, then it's going to be a nominee for sure.
Didn't the last one get an 89?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think this one will get
it.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
This one supposedly fixed every problem and expanded.
I don't know.
In every way.
Right.
Yeah.
How big did
that's
they
what
say
they
this
say.
game was?
We'll
Did they say this
see.
game was like almost 100 gig? How big is this game? Isn't it
80
massive?
gigs.
80,
for
right?
us.
80 gigs,
it's 80 gigs.
Dude, and you know with the Kraken and everything, that's a pretty...
Kraken.
I heard this is a big game. Like,
And it looks like
it is
they
a big
teased
game,
that
yeah.
you can fly.
Reinstall it now
Yeah.
too. I assume
You can fly on the mounts. Like, holy crap! That's
Yeah,
the
you
problem
can
is
fly
that
now,
I
yeah.
went with the collector's edition like crap to get the figurine and the steel book and the this and that. Problem is like I did get my email from Sony and I got charged for it. It is guaranteed. When you ordered it, I can't say anything else, but when you order it through Sony, which I did, it's guaranteed delivery on the day of release. So I'll get it for Friday. But you guys that are all getting it digitally, I kind of envy you still because you're gonna get to start to play it on
the bad
right.
Part. Yeah.
It is.
I miss not being able to preload it so that I can go. You know what I mean? Like right there.
Right.
But yeah, like it was too good of a CE.
They should mail us all a code that have the CEs and
you know what was funny enough when I did when I got
But you
when
needed
Uncharted
disc.
4 Yeah, when Uncharted 4 came out, I got the CE for that, and Amazon screwed it up, right? And they're like, well, now you're going to get it. They're like, you're going to get it like a week later. But they go, oh, well, here's a digital code, so you get the game or whatever. And so I ended up with a digital code so that I could play it that day. So I can say that they actually made it right.
That was pretty cool. I remember that.
Which it was, because now when I upgraded to the Thieves Collection, it was just the $10 for the digital or whatever. I don't have to put in a copy of the game or anything. Just, boom. Looks great too.
So what do you guys think? I mean, is this something you're looking forward to? I want to ask you guys this too. I know BRAP, you're going to be an interesting answer on this one. I mean, Elden Ring, and me too. I really want to play Elden Ring. I'm kind of drooling for that. I'm going to play the hell out of Dying Light 2. I know Wilmy is for the next week. Are you gonna? Are you gonna
more than that, dude?
Well, Wilmy, are you buying Horizon Forbidden West or no? Not yet.
Oh, I've already got it pre-ordered on my PS5 and ordered the collector's edition.
Oh, okay,
The big one.
So I love the double dipping there, by the way. I want to say this much. Are you going to stop playing Dying Light to play Horizon? Or are you going to stop playing Horizon to play Elden Ring?
I'm not going to play Elden Ring.
That's not your bag.
Nah. You hit that certain point in your life when you're just like, nah, fuck that.
I do understand where you're coming from.
I played Demon Souls. I've tried, some of the Souls games. I just don't have the patience, and I don't have the time. That's the catch.
That's the thing. I do think with Elden Ring, and I got to do a little bit of homework on it too, to just kind of, because shout out to like Vati and a couple others that do some amazing YouTube work, have really, really kind of gotten some of the understory before getting started on this. And I'm very excited for Elden Ring, and that's the part that kind of bothers me. Here I am. I only have another week, right, with Dying Light, which I know is not enough time to play that thoroughly. And then and then you got Horizon and 80 gigs. How am I going to get Horizon done, BRAP, before Elden Ring in a week? Impossible.
Mooch, it's funny. Like I'm on borrowed time. That's why I look at it like. And I said this to you, like, I'm down for Dying Light 2. I love Dying Light 2. It's a great game. Horizon Forbidden West is coming out. I have I'm on borrowed time with that. For me, because I'm a Soulsborne fan, Elden Ring comes out. That is what I am going to be focused on, hands down.
But the thing is, though, BRAP, but the problem is,
I think that's going to be game of the year, by the way.
But BRAP, I want to get Slow-Mo in here too, guys. It doesn't end there, though. Okay, I mean, and I know Slow-Mo. The reason I'm going to you is me and you are both Borderlands freaks, right? Like I love Borderlands, and that Tiny Tina's Wonderland comes out in March.
Yeah, although I'm happy it's going out at the end of March.
Wilmy, you are too. That's right. Wilmy's a big Borderlands fan as well.
Oh no, Martha's Dead is on the 24th.
So Martha's Dead. I'm glad you brought that up. And there was somebody in the chat earlier that was like, Mooch, you need to be a little hard on Sony. I tweeted out immediately, shame on PlayStation and Sony for doing that with Martha's Dead. That first of all, the devs came out and said that they were very, very clear on what the game was. There's nothing that they held back. And now, last minute, we're finding out that PlayStation is going to remove content.
Yeah,
I'm not okay with that.
Well, what content are they removing?
I mean, from what I read, and I'm not going to even mention what it is. It's quite gruesome, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but that makes me more intrigued to play it.
Exactly.
Right. So now I'm definitely going to buy it on Xbox. And that's a no-brainer. But yeah, Wilmy, I know that you were also kind of sounding off on this. So but top level Slow-Mo, there is a disturbing scene or two in the game, and PlayStation has decided to ask and pardon me, I'll get their name right now, Wired Productions, to pull it back from PlayStation. You can still get it on the day of release, but if you bought a physical copy or a collector's edition, it'll be held back.
I know what scene it is. Okay.
Okay.
I've kind of heard about that months ago. I was like, okay.
And see, I have no problems with that. That's why I bought the game.
Well, that's my point, Wilmy. Isn't that the point? Exactly. So you put a mature rating on there, and then it's buy and beware. Isn't that how we've been kind of doing things since the beginning of time?
Basically.
You could still beat up hookers in GTA, right?
Right. You can do all kinds of things that people would say are not
Wilmy,
right.
I saw a guy on GTA Online, and this was when like GTA Online was like a thing first started, and I'm playing with someone, and we saw like a random car parked in an alleyway. Some guy was like simulating getting a blowjob from a hooker. So I mean, like,
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't see what the big deal is.
I'm not happy with that at all, and I think that Sony really should just kind of let the consumer be in charge. When you put an M rating on something, I mean, we're well past the Saturday morning cartoons. We get it. We know that it's going to be something that's probably
this is 2022. We've seen worse.
We've seen
in the street.
we've seen worse. B, I'll be honest with you. They even said, if I read it right, if you read the description of the delay, the developer says that even before you get into that predicament, I believe there's a warning that comes up on screen. So there's multiple warnings for people who don't want to be susceptible to it, and there may even be an option. I don't know why Sony's doing this. So yeah, I added PlayStation, and I said I think that's a big mistake. I would hope you'd reconsider that. I don't think they will, but I think that they should. I think they're going to lose a lot. The reason you buy a game like that is because of that disturbing content. So
exactly.
I mean, Xbox is going to absolutely kill it on that one. Now, I will say this much in defense to the other side of the coin. I really didn't. Unlike Wilmy, I didn't even know Martha is Dead was coming until like 3 or 4 days ago when they announced that the best we're going to get on Xbox and PlayStation was 1080p again, 60. So I was like, oh, okay, well, in that case, I'm like, well, whatever. I'm not even going to look at it. But that's really, really crazy. I almost want to support it on Xbox now because of that.
Well, now I had to double dip and had to buy it on Xbox because I bought it on PS5 to play it and stream it.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And now I've already had to go buy it on my Xbox, so.
Oh, wow.
Well,
it's
only like $25-$30, so.
Oh, it's a $30
yeah,
title?
It's not like it's a $70 or $80
okay,
game.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, you're also entitled, Wilmy, to returning that, I believe. You could get your refund on PlayStation.
No, I already tried.
Real? Why? You haven't played it?
Once they took the money, that's it.
I thought you...
Yeah, they've been like that about pre-orders for the most part. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
You pay for their pre-orders as soon as you click.
Okay.
They charge you.
Okay. That's interesting.
So,
that is interesting. I did not know that. So I will stand corrected on that. But yeah, I have a couple more topics here. We did decent this week. We did 4 or 5 topics.
Yeah, thanks to my big mouth.
Well, it's funny. Well, Wilmy, you say that we hit 3 before
yeah.
you
Wilmy's
mentioned
like, fuck Game Pass.
I had we did Dying Light. Okay, we did Crossfire X. We did Activision deal, and we did Horizon, and we did Steam Deck.
That's amazing.
That's not bad. I know Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff.
Welcome.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
Well, Jeff Grubb's writing right now. Like, you know what I mean? Note to self: Mooch actually got past 2 topics.
Mooch, but seriously, like, how great is February for gaming though? Like, it's amazing.
It's
right?
great, but I mean,
the only game I'm getting is Horizon in February. The rest of them,
Crap, you're not doing Dying Light?
No.
Oh.
I mean, the fact that you can't progress your story in somebody else's game.
Yeah, but
that's the big issue I had with State of Decay 2.
I know, but the majority of people are playing this game solo, and I don't blame them.
Why would you play it solo?
It's what's funny, and BRAP, maybe you could speak to this. Crap, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I really plan to run this thing through entirely with BRAP and Blades. But the thing about it is that, like, first of all, scheduling is a bitch. Okay, for a game that's this long, it's tough to make that even happen. Number 2, you goof off a lot. The game's already 100 hours barely, minimum. It's like 500 hours for completion. 100 hours. When you're with friends, you're having a lot of fun, but you're not getting a ton accomplished. You're goofing off and having a good time, and it's like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people I know playing Dying Light 2 are playing
Wasn't
it
the
solo.
last one? Didn't the last one allow for the game to progress?
See, I thought so, but I don't really know. Everybody just joined my game. I was the nucleus. I was the straw of the drink. I was the Mayana. Yes.
I don't know. That's just so weird to me.
Yes, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because Dead Island, one of the cool things about it is you played through it, and I played through all those with friends.
The thing you got to remember, too, though, but Dying Light and Dead Island, much smaller games than this one. Much.
I get it, but I mean, I just that's.
I will say this.
Yeah. No, Crap, like that's a valid point you're saying, Crap. Go ahead, Crap.
Yeah, no, like that's a quality of life thing. They should absolutely probably try to figure that out. But on the flip side, you are getting, you're getting XP, you are getting new weapon upgrades.
You get everything,
so that might
Crap.
and that might help.
It's a story-based game, right?
Yeah.
So
but go back
but hear me out.
Those things may help you progress easier in those stories.
If Wilmy, Crap, BRAP, the 4 of us played, right? And we go through on Wilmy's story. And you get all that XP, you get this and that, blah, blah. And we do 3 story missions with Wilmy. Yes, does that mean you have to go back and do them on your game to progress just your game? Or are you going to, you're playing with your friends anyway. So once you launch back into Wilmy's game, it's like you never left. You're getting achievements, you get everything as you go. the thing about it is you go, well, that sucks, Mooch. What if I want to play alone? You're overpowered now so you can go back and run through those. Pretty simple because your XP's through the roof. So it's really not a lose there. I mean, you could definitely turn it into a losing situation. But I think if you're saying, Mooch, we are dedicated to play a game, okay? Me and you going through a game. Well, you just said you're not going to play without me. So does it really matter if it's your game or mine? I wouldn't care. I even said that to BRAP. I said, if you want, it could be your game that we use as the nucleus. I don't care. I just wanted to play it through with friends. So it doesn't really matter. Or you can go tackle those 2 or 3 missions you did with your friends on your own later because your XP's through the roof. So again, you could definitely turn it around to say it sucks. It's definitely not ideal, but it doesn't cripple the game for me. I think it's a really good game still. I think it doesn't hurt the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it really takes away that nostalgia.
It doesn't bother
friends.
me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It didn't bother me as much as I thought it was going to bother me. But here we are. We are over the 2-hour mark here now in New York. And I want to say this much. Thanks to everybody being here. Outstanding, just from every single person that's here. I can't believe it. The super chats are great. Shout out to Second City Saint for that unbelievable super chat. I hope you're back to next week's Second City. Help me with my February gaming bills. Outstanding to have everybody here. You guys are all outstanding, great people. This panel's amazing. The great HR Bomber had to leave a little early, but he will be back on the show. I want to say that much. So shout out to HR Bomber. You can catch him. I'll plug him right now, actually, as far as his... I'm looking for his... Of course, now I can't find it, so that's awesome. But I'll plug it in a little while. You can find him on Gaming Beyond the Box on Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. But let me go to Wilmy, because Wilmy can do a great job of plugging the great HR Bomber as well. Wilmy, thanks for being here tonight. And thank you for giving the cart a push. I do appreciate that.
Dude, man, it's not you. And plus, I love giving.
I know you do.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
Just fun.
That was great.
And I haven't been on the podcast with him in so long because my schedule's been so crazy. But
who, me or Crap?
BRAP.
You, BRAP.
Oh, me. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. You. But it's good to be here finally. And hell, you can find me. Well, I've got 180,000 people blocked on Twitter, so you'll probably find me on YouTube easier. You can find me on YouTube under Gaming Beyond the Box. We do you can call it a gaming podcast. We just call it Chaos and Gaming Mixed. Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, me, and HR Bomber, and my panel. And we're almost to 20,000 subscribers this week.
That's awesome.
So
nice.
we have really grown. I'm really shocked. And we just talk a lot of shit, talk about games, all that good fun stuff. And yeah, that's about it. And you can find me on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam.
Appreciate that, Wilmy. I did promise everybody it's HR Bomber 1414 over on Twitter. Check out HR Bomber. Great dude, great gaming community guy. Always positive, keeps things light. Love it.
Oh, he's a dick. That's why he's on my show.
Well, that's when he has about 6 or 7 beers in him. Then he could morph into something else.
He's even better on vodka.
Shout out to Bomber. Thank you,
I
Wilmy.
love Bomber. I really do.
He starts telling you about that green Monte Carlo his parents used to have. Is really crazy.
We got to get him down there and just talk about that. The great Slow-Mo backslap as well. Slow-Mo, I know you had a lot going on as well today. You took some time to be on the show, and I truly, truly appreciate it. Slow-Mo, let people know where they can find you. And great show, great DPS yesterday on your channel.
Thank you. And yeah, about DPS, this is Damage Per Second podcast. It was on my YouTube channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. Come check that out. Me and the homie Gaming Forte had our 70th episode. I don't know why I can't say that word. Episode last night. You
sound like Forte, man.
I know, man. I think he's rubbing off on me.
We had that time together.
We had that episode last night. It was pretty fun. Check out my Twitch channel by the same name as well. I normally go live around lunchtime, just hang out with some people, play some games, have some fun. So come on through. And Mooch, I appreciate the invite. Thanks, man.
Always, buddy. Always. I appreciate you being here. Thanks, Slow-Mo. And then the great Basement Radio Arcade podcast, BRAP.
The man with 13 kids.
He's got 13 kids.
and during the podcast, his wife got pregnant again.
Oh
my God.
Wow. Multitasking during a podcast? I've always asked Crap. I said, it's funny when we used to podcast when we first started years ago. People used to game while podcasting. I'm like, there's no gaming during Crossfire. But BRAP's apparently doing all kinds of things during Crossfire. So
I don't know about all.
Well, I don't know about all that, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's
BRAP. Go ahead and let people know they can find you.
Yeah. So wait. So Wilmy, what Bomber has the El Camino. What happened? What is it again?
I don't know, dude. We had a show one night. He was wasted. He started talking about a green Monte Carlo. Yeah, it was.
All right, so hey, Will, but let's do this, man. Let's like. So here's the thing, like we've all been cooped up the pandemic, and I said this to Bomber when he joined.
You have,
chat
I
earlier.
haven't.
Well, I have. Yeah, I mean, I haven't.
Willie's
Clearly,
like, I've been
didn't
out
like
there
that.
every day.
Willie's like,
Yeah,
fuck
dude.
yeah, I've been out
He's
there.
sharing
what I do.
pictures. He's sharing
I live in
pictures.
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah, I see the
You
pictures.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah, Crap's been
yeah,
out too.
but so I think I think what we should do is we should all get together, show up at a green Monte Carlo to Bomber's house, drive out to Vegas, just have a good time, man.
That's not a
So-
bad idea. I can't really say
That's
it's
a long
bad
drive
idea.
to me.
Great
dude.
idea.
It is a long drive.
But why would I want to take a Monte Carlo?
That's also
I don't know
good.
because Bomber.
I mean,
Bomber said
I've
Monte
got-
Carlo.
I've got a lot nicer vehicles than that. I mean, I
I
really don't want to get the
know.
Monte Carlo.
All right, so how about this? How about you take a Monte Carlo down to Florida then? Right,
Can I
smaller
take my
trip.
Rubicon? I can take the top off and the doors off.
Yeah, let's do the Rubicon.
All right, so
Yeah.
I'll be in the Rubicon with you,
Okay.
and we can
Um,
follow
cool.
Mooch and
Yeah, okay.
Bomber in the Monte Carlo.
Okay, we can do that.
All right,
Yeah.
sold. Brad, let people know where they
Exactly.
can find you.
Yeah, no, Basement Ready Arcade Podcast. I will prolong the end of this at the ending of the show.
Brad, you are an expert at this.
I just like to talk, man. Like
There's nothing
sports
wrong with
talk
that.
radio,
Nothing wrong with that.
No, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast on YouTube, live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Myself, Slobo Backslap, who's here tonight, Gaming Forte, B Money 101, Eric Jackson. Please check us out. And big shout out to Delirium Blaze, by the way, because I can't wait to talk to him about this new PC I just got. So I'm hyped.
Are you? I'm not sure Brap's even done. Is he done?
I'm done.
Shout out to Brap. I'm only kidding, buddy. Shout out to the great Gaming Forte. He says, you're going to let him something about me like that, Mooch. Wait. Who said something bad about Forte?
Oh, Forte
Here's the
doesn't.
thing is that
Forte does
we
not-
talked about
doesn't pronounce
Forte
words
not
right.
being able to pronounce words right, and he didn't even like do his sentence right. This,
okay.
You going to let him to about me like that? Like, come on, Forte.
Because Forte knew you knew what he meant.
He
That's
knew
how
that
close
you
you guys
knew.
are.
Right.
Well,
He knew that you knew.
Exactly.
I speak Forte. I speak game.
Forte
Exactly.
is the mush mouth of podcasting.
You guys can finish each other's sentences at this
man.
point. That's what he's saying.
So great. They really do. They're like the odd couple. It's so good. You should
They
have
are
named
like
it
a
that.
hot couple.
I love it. Crap. Outstanding having you here. Great points tonight, man. And honestly, really, really good. I think it's insightful to look at both sides of the coin. That's the one thing that we've always pushed, whether it be this show, MNC, doesn't matter. So when you give that your take, it's a lot of fun to hear your take on it because you really are putting a good spin on both sides of it. So I appreciate everything you said tonight. Let people know where they can find you, and I wait next week.
Crap Gamer Reviews, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Crap. Appreciate it. I'm going to plug the great Xbot448. It's Xbot448 everywhere. YouTube, Twitch. I don't know if he's on Twitch actually anymore, but YouTube, Twitter, he's everywhere. Go over and check out the great Xbot448. And please go check out the great gaming_Forte on Twitter. He does a great show with the great Slow-Mo Backslap, as you know, DPS on Thursday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Apple phones suck.
And, we're going to completely ignore what Brap just said, and we're just going to light a candle next to our Steve Jobs statue. There you go. That being said, we'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And, guys, go over, please. On the way out, there's still
Go
Twitter-
Mets!
Definitely go Mets. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, guys. And go over to twitch.tv, Mooch TV. Leave the O's off for zeros. And go over and please follow me over there. We are going to be streaming Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe even Thursday. I'm going to try to get as much Dying Light in as possible. And it's going to be great. That being said, enjoy your weekend. And thank you, everybody.
And y'all come back now here.
I got the computer, man.